Oh, and we're invisible, Pong. See, we come in here and we're completely invisible as we load in, man.
Are you serious right now?
I love it. I love it the way this works. Oh, and we showed back up. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is I am he, and I want to tell you good morning and welcome to the Living Split Screen Morning Show, where we are a non-console-centric platform that discusses all things within the gaming industry. Let you know we are here to provide live, raw, and uncut thoughts and opinions while also giving you that authentic, organic, and energizing boost to get you into your weekend. Look, it is I am him, still reigning. I'm here with my brother from another, the one and only podcast extraordinaire, one of the most wisest guys that I know. Pong Soul, what's going on, my guy?
Look, brother, I am nothing without you, my friend, and everything that you bring, the intelligence, the hype, the real fire, the smoke, all of it. I am nothing without you, and that's why we do this together, brother. Living Split Screen, episode number 11. Good Saturday morning to everyone out there in the world, gamers. And you feel it. And you feel it.
You
Christmas.
feel in the air tonight.
Saying that last night on Xbox Ultimate, brother. I did. With my terrible voice, I put those bars out there just like that. That's awesome. I can't believe you just did that. That's amazing. No, man, episode 11, Split Screen, Saturday morning. Everybody, you guys all rock for being here with us already. Anybody who's going to listen afterwards, we love you. Thank you for coming out. It is a gorgeous Saturday here. It's gonna be about 100 degrees. So summer is on, and that fits perfect with E3 right around the corner. Christmas time for gamers. We got a lot to talk about. News is trickling out slowly but surely. The leaks are happening. You know what? I'm all about it. I want to see my Christmas gifts before they're supposed to be here, right? That's the way I am. So, man, right. I'm ready to talk some stuff here, Steele. Great to be here with you, brother. As always, man. Love you. Excellent. And love the chat. So let's get down to it, brother.
Hell yeah, man. Well, good to know, man. I definitely want to talk about what we've been getting to for the week. I know it's been pretty hectic. At least let the people know what we've been gaming, right? Dreadpool's in the house too, by the way. Shout out to him. People were saying that you sounded like you might be a little low. So people, let us know if Palm was sounding a little low. I turned him up a little bit on my side. He didn't sound like he was low before, and I hadn't messed with anything. Doesn't mean that things might not have been off. So if anything, if it still sounds low, whatever the case, let me know. I'll continue to adjust it as we move through the show. But with that being said, look, I am continuing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition grind, man. For those who just don't know, man, this is my first foray into the Mass Effect world. I skipped over it back in the day. This will be probably my third week talking about it. Actually, let me get this gameplay in the background going because I did not have it going, and I got Mass Effect 3 going because I'm currently about in the middle of Mass Effect 3. Probably not. I'm probably still in the beginning and in doing a bunch of side missions. Obviously, I found out that I was doing some DLC content, and I didn't even recognize it was DLC content because it was just that built into the actual game. You know what I mean? Exactly how it's supposed to be. So I can definitely tell that I'm getting a completely different experience from people that were playing the game originally. We got into a little bit of a conversation last night. Surprisingly, on GLG last night, we had a bunch of people that were like, Mass Effect 3 is the GOAT. And I was like,
oh, whoa.
They were like, yo, after playing the entire series again and really playing everything in Mass Effect 3 and this, that, and other thing. And I was like, oh, man, Mass Effect 3 is the GOAT. And I was like, man, I don't know, y'all. Like, Mass Effect 2 is the GOAT for me, man. As somebody newer to the series, Mass Effect 2, again, one has the perfect story. Definitely is extremely enthralling from start to finish. That's why I beat it in under 20 hours. Just because I was so enveloped in that story that I feel like I didn't have a choice but to just continue progressing. Mass Effect 2 carried that over, and then also made me feel like I needed to do all the side content and whatnot, and make sure I had everything set up for all my characters. I was really enveloped in each individual person. I know somebody else was like, "Oh, Mass Effect 2 is a dating sim." I didn't have that experience at all. Actually, though, the only chick, the cheeks that I was able to get was the chick that tells you that you got mail and let you know how your crew is doing. I got those cheeks. Everybody else, I didn't get any other cheeks but those. It was all about business. I'm trying to save the world from the Reapers, and that's all I was trying to do. If you weren't helping me,
wait. Hold on, Steel. Hold on,
What,
Steel.
man? What?
The dating sim isn't just about the relationships. Okay, when people call it a dating sim, it's because it is so focused on your relationships with each of your crew members, right?
Okay.
Each one of the people you pick up, you're doing their stuff to get to know about them and get them, so that's why people call it a dating sim, not just for the actual relationship part. It's just because you're developing that rapport, and it's much more focused on that than one was, right? One was the overall arcing story, the big picture kind of deal, right? Whereas 2 is more focused, which we've talked about. That's why people call it a dating sim. I think it's I think it's hilarious. But,
and see, you saying that, I definitely understand that from that aspect. If we want to call that the dating sim part of it, I don't consider that the dating sim. I consider that just an RPG. That's an RPG element. You're getting you're enveloped in the story. You're really role playing. You're getting to know these characters. Getting to know your team. Getting to know everybody that you're around. That's not a dating sim to me. When you say dating sim, that's me. That's like I'm talking to every chick like I'm trying to smash. You know what I mean? That's the dating sim aspect of it. And
that's those Japanese dating sim.
But when I brought that up last night, they were like, "Oh, you didn't smash this and this person." I was like, "No, bro." Like I hit the chick that I got my mail and let me know about my crew, and that was it. Everybody else, I didn't get those other options. You know what I mean? But I also was pretty straightforward and cutthroat when it came down to, look, I'm really about trying to get this whole Reaper situation settled. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get down whatever this is. So it's like, and I didn't, like, after doing their character missions, I didn't really talk to them much after that unless I needed to. So that was probably because it also didn't been another part of that. But I was always off doing something. So it was like, I'm not, and also because I was so enveloped in the story, I was just I'm progressing the story, taking these characters with me, doing missions or whatever, trying to put, and continue to push forward. So either way, and then Mass Effect 3 was extremely jarring for me, especially in the beginning. As far as everybody say, "Oh, the gameplay's better," and this and another thing. I still think the gameplay and everything in Mass Effect 2 is better. The overall feel in Mass Effect 2 was better to me personally, and that's surprising as someone who loves Gears of War and other third-person RPG type games. You know what I mean? So again, I understand why people love 1. The story was great. 2 carries that over and just adds so much on top of that. I know people try to say, "Oh, they took out a lot of the RPG elements." No, if we want to talk about the game that took out all the RPG elements, let's talk about 3. Like for real. It's it's exactly like, bro, you can't even hack stuff like you used to. You know what I mean? It completely removed everything that was so great about the first 2 and removed it. But that's just me. So that's what I've been into. Hopefully y'all enjoy the gameplay. I'm in between my N7 armor looking like Iron Man and using the collector's armor that I was feeling and I was really into. But other than that, man, Pong, what you been gaming, man? We were talking about a game in the background, man, that you jumped into that you were having a good time with, man. That people might have skipped over.
Yeah. Hey, look. I love old games. All right. I'm not going to lie. So first of all, I've been still playing Biomutant. Biomutant is fantastic.
Excellent.
Try it for yourself. I know you got to take a leap of faith because it's been divisive with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, they already patched a lot of the problems people had with the first hour and a half of that game. They already patched that. They listened. These developers are all over it. Experiment 101 is doing a fantastic job listening to the community already. That already gives me a lot of hope. But this game is beautiful. I got some screenshots. I haven't posted them on Twitter yet, but I'll be doing that. The game's absolutely amazing and well worth a try. I know the $60 is a little steep. For some people, I get it. I'm a budget gamer. I have to pick and choose myself.
Right.
with what I'm going to spend my money and my time on. But Biomutant, once you get into it, is well worth it. I can't wait for you to dive into it, Steel,
Boy, I can't wait.
after you get done with Mass Effect, because it is a special game, and I want this game to succeed because I want to see a number 2 with a bigger budget, more time, maybe a bigger team, because what these 20 people did is really really great. It is a fun action RPG. So definitely been playing that. Get my NBA 2K1 in as well. Of course, I have to, man. I have to. But let's see what else I've been playing. Well, I know. Oh yeah, jump back into Dying Light as well. Now that it's got the 60 frames boost, I had already popped that back in. I was planning on replaying it through. I had picked up the anniversary edition. I'm kind of upset I picked up the anniversary edition because if you guys didn't know, if you guys are looking to hop back into Dying Light right now in the store, you can get the platinum edition on sale. It's a fantastic deal. I think it's like $25, and that includes every single piece of DLC that's been released for Dying Light so far. And the anniversary edition has most of the DLC, but not all of it. So I'm kind of upset. But I did pop that back in. It's got the frame boost now. It's up to 60 frames. I mean, especially with the Parker movement that they have in that, the 60 frames really helps that game a lot, between the battle mechanics, and then the parkour movements, both of those, you can see and feel the difference. And so I'm hopping back into that. Yeah, because I played a lot on the PS4. And I wanted to get back into it again. So before Dying Light 2 comes out. So hop back into that. And then, as Steel was alluding to, again, I like old games. I missed a lot of games. I'm not one of those lucky guys that seems to be on Twitter all the time and also has played every single game ever created, according to man. I'm not that guy. So I missed a lot of games, and there's one that I've had my eye on for a long time. It's a love it or hate it game. When you read the reviews, either you're going to get a 0 or 1 star, or you're going to get a 5 star. Okay.
Yeah.
And this game is like I said, I had my eyes on it for a long time. It went on sale in the store. I actually found it online, the physical copy, for a little bit cheaper. So I picked it up. It got delivered to me. I popped it in yesterday before Xbox Ultimate and got probably like an hour in or an hour and a half in. So it's called Elix. Elix. Elix, by Piranha Games, who also did MechWarrior 5, underneath THQ Nordic. So it's a AA action RPG. It's definitely not AAA, guys. But for anybody who doesn't know, Piranha did Gothic back in the day, which was a AA RPG. Again, love it or hate it. People either loved it or hate it. They do old school stuff. There is no hand holding in their RPGs. Okay. So this is like, again, my time frame with RPGs, when I was transitioning from JRPGs to Western RPGs, both sides had those games that they didn't handhold at all. Basically, they threw you into the world and said, good luck. Now, it isn't Souls-like or anything like that, but you can get to a point, if you're not ready, and you don't have your levels up and you don't have your equipment right, you're going to walk into some places and get destroyed, right? And it can be frustrating for people, and you can get killed a lot in the beginning. They have a great autosave feature. Auto saves every 3 minutes. You can save on the fly, which definitely alleviates some of that problems if you use it. But again, this game is a AA game. The graphics aren't the greatest, you're going to notice. However, it did get a PS4 Pro and Xbox One X update. So they unlocked the frame rates. So on the Series X, guess what? I'm getting a lock. I'm at 60 plus.
60, hey.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. So this game is one of those games from last gen that actually plays and feels better than it did now on the last gen stuff. Even on the One X, it was, 60 wasn't locked, right? So it wasn't, you could get those dips, but on the Series X, you don't. Now, I found a problem last night. For anybody curious about this game, go check it out. It's Elix, ELEX. check it out. But I did find a problem with because the frame rates are unlocked. I actually tried the graphics mode because the graphics are at like 3K, some weird number in that mode. However, the menu screen locks up when you try to equip a weapon on the Series X.
That makes sense.
So you have to use it. It doesn't make any freaking sense whatsoever.
It's
but anyway, it's an older game.
Yeah,
but on performance mode, which is 1080p, it works flawlessly so far.
Okay.
So I switched over to that, and everything was fine. But again, action RPG. The cool part about this game is it's a post-apocalyptic world. You're thrown into it. You're part of this military group. So an asteroid's hit the world. The asteroid has brought Elix to the world, which is an unknown, formerly unknown substance, metal, whatever you want to call it. But it can be ingested, and people get addicted to it. And so you get all these factions. So there's the Berserker faction, which refuses to use the power weapons and stuff created by Elix. They feel it's, unnatural or whatever the case may be. So they're roaming. You can join them. You can join like the clerics who use the Elix to actually become like magic users. Which is really cool. They use it for magic. And then you've got a separate band which got addicted to Elix so bad that they couldn't stop themselves, and they basically become zombies.
Right.
But super powerful, right? That like inhuman kind of taken over by this power, right? And then you've got this military group that has learned how to use the power to build power armor, to build weapons, all sorts of stuff, and they're trying to obviously bring law and order to the world. And again, I'm not expert at this world yet because I just got into it, but I've kind of read some of the lore, but not all of it. But I'm kind of getting into it now. But it's just a really cool game, man. It was one of those ones that slipped under the radar because, again, the reviews weren't great, hit or miss. But again, for an RPG lover like me, there's decision making. There's a kind of a karma thing. Cold hearted is what they call it. You can either be kind of caring, or you can be completely unfeeling, or something in between, and you get powers based upon the decisions you make. It's got all the character classes you come to love and expect out of it. You can mix and match them all. So again, just a really cool game that I hopped into, and I love old games. And this is one that I never got a chance to try. And now with the Series X, I'm getting to see and play it even better than I would have previously. So hey, that's what I've been doing.
Which is excellent, man. A lot of people try to downplay older games, man. And again, like we've constantly been talking about, gaming is art and should be treated as such. The fact that you're able to play these games, back in the day, you were getting at sub 30 frames. Now you're getting at 60, almost bare minimum. When you're going back to them, you're getting a brand new experience. The fact that you're able to jump into this game and get that is something that I feel like people should understand above all else. Games, it's all about the feeling as we move into the future, man, and you're getting that. Go back and try some of those older games that you thought you had a good time with at the sub 30 frames, man, and now get them on that new gen console and see how it feels. A lot of people say, man, these games feel completely different nowadays. But man, that's exciting to know, man. I know you always like to jump through different games, touch on different games that you play. That's the other thing that makes this thing so unique, man, because you have that play style, that gamer style, to where like you like to touch on a lot of different games. Where as myself, unless I'm like deeply involved in a multiplayer game, I'll play a game to its fullest potential. As y'all see with Mass Effect, 3 weeks in a row, I've given y'all Mass Effect. I mean, I got other gameplay too that I could put up, but I've given y'all straight Mass Effect gameplay. Yeah, one, because I've been hooked to it, but two, I like to play games to their fullest potential. Dead Space is the only one I haven't done that yet, but there's been some rumors that Dead Space may get a remaster. So we'll see. I may have to hold on to it a bit. If the rumors are true, I may have to hold off a bit so I can replay 1, 2, and 3 and really get the upgraded qualities and everything, especially if it's going to be like the Legendary Edition with Mass Effect and you see the differences between the OG version to the new version. Oh man, I may have to wait, but who knows? I got 2 and 3, Dead Space 2 and 3 on the in the library, ready to play. So we'll see. But other than that, man, always great to hear that gaming content. But just before we get into the upcoming games, because that's another important part of what we do here. That's very different from what other people may do. We like to lead it in with the upcoming games, especially with us going into E3. We don't know what's coming in the meantime, in between time, for the rest of this month also. But we'll definitely let you know into next week what's coming out. I know we got Ratchet and Clank for sure, so I'll probably touch on that a little bit. And also, then we like to end the stream, as most of y'all may know if you're new here, with the This Day in Gaming segment, because at the end of the day,
feel old segment.
Paul says it's a make him feel old segment. I don't want anybody to believe that or think that. It's all about, again, like I was saying in the beginning, gaming is art and should be treated as such. And it's about, because not everybody knows about these games or realizes where some of these games might have came from originally, or where the auto designs might have came from. And it's cool to go back and at least pull it up on YouTube. We have that easy access to go back and draw those similarities between other games that you might be playing, other games that you might be interested in, and overall just shed light on masterpieces that have come out, and even if they're not masterpieces, considering everything's a masterpiece. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So everything is a masterpiece to somebody. So it's just going through and just giving gaming the love that it deserves. But Paul, man, with that being said, are you ready to get into
I'm always ready.
What's
Come on now.
upcoming in the gaming world, man?
How do you even ask me that question? When am I not ready?
Hey, man, look, I had to ask you if you were ready, because I wasn't ready. I'm pulling it up right now before I swap over. But anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and take over, man. I'm going to pause my video clips and let's go to full screen.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh, I'm
Because you
excellent.
seem to be the one that's not ready. I think you were delaying just so you could get your screen up.
Maybe I was. No, don't let the people know. Don't let the people know. They'll never know.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, please.
Woo.
All right. So coming up this week, let's take a look.
Hey,
Actually, you know what?
Mighty Goose came out today.
Mighty Goose came out today. Oh, you're right. Oh my God. How did we miss that one? That wasn't on the list last week. That must have been a late addition. What is Mighty Goose anyway?
I have no idea what Mighty Goose is.
Don't even have a picture for it. It's by developer Blast Mode and publisher Playism. So hey, I have no idea what this game is, but anybody want to check out Mighty Goose? Yeah, it did come out today for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch.
That's funny.
PC. So
oh man.
Hey, go get it. Go get it. All right.
Yeah.
So starting June 8th, we got Backbone with for the PC. And it's actually, let's see, it's coming later, it looks like, for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. So I don't know, but this is an animal game. I think I do remember this game. It's kind of like a narrative driven game with animals, done by developer Eggnut and publisher Raw Fury. But they kind of have like animal humans in a narrative kind of driven story. Right. I think I do remember seeing a video about this one, but that one comes out PC June 8th, and it looks like still later 2021 for the rest. So Backbone, everybody. Chivalry 2 is coming out June 8th. I played around with the beta.
Okay.
On this, Chivalry 2 has been getting a little bit of steam. If it actually plays pretty well. Some of the control schemes to pull off some of the moves are a little wonky.
Yeah.
On the controller. So again, it's a PC. It's more known on the PC than it is on consoles, but they're doing a great job bringing it over. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. June 8th, Chivalry 2. You guys like that medieval battle stuff, which I do. Go get it. Because it is looking pretty damn good. Edge of Eternity comes out on PC June 8th. I don't know what Edge of Eternity. Oh, looks like an RPG. Cool. And it's out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. So this is it looks like it's going to be coming later to the consoles as well. So another great RPG. Looks Midgar Studio did it. Dear Villagers is the publisher. I might have to look into that.
It's a role-playing game. You know
me. It's got that
games.
Got that anime JRPG look
That
to
is
it, so
true.
I have to check that out. So let's see here. Elder Scrolls Online gets the next gen update.
Yes.
And that is coming June 8th as well, along with the Elder Scrolls Online Gates of Oblivion expansion is releasing
That's
as
crazy.
well. Yes.
Game's been out for a while, and it's continued to get these updates.
Look, ZeniMax Online. Listen to
it.
me. Allow me to bring my player over from PlayStation 4, and I will get back into this.
Hey, look.
Give me back my 300 plus hours or where the hell I had into it on PlayStation 4, and I will come back. I will be a premium subscriber to your monthly service because I love that service. It's actually worth it if you're going to play Elder Scrolls Online. I will do that, but you guys got to make that happen. I don't want to start over.
You know, unfortunately, Pong, if they're anything like Black Desert and Pearl Abyss over there, since the things have now switched over from Cacao to Pearl Abyss, I don't think they're going to let you bring your character over. They're going to want you to start all the way over so you can struggle.
It's 2021. It's 2021. I should be able to have cross player progression. I should be able to have that now. Okay?
Hey, you know what's crazy? I'd pay $100 for it. Let me transfer my character. I'll pay for it. Fuck it.
Don't give them that idea. I'll just rejoin your premium subscription service, though. I will do that. So, but anyways, so that's exciting. Elder Scrolls Online, for anybody, it really is now at this point a fantastic game, and it does feel like Elder Scrolls, and it really is a great game to jump into if you're looking for an MMO. So, love that game.
Thanks.
Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. Steel, I know you're going to want to preach about this. I know you're going to want to get into this. That comes out June 9th. Xbox Series consoles, Xbox exclusive, people, and PC, of course. But go ahead. You hit it, Steel.
Man, look, for anybody that was interested in the original Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis takes it to the next level. And I need y'all have to understand that if you haven't tried Phantasy Star out before, because you might have not been into the art style, or maybe you weren't into the type of gameplay, or whatever the case, I would definitely suggest when New Genesis comes out to at least give it a shot. Phantasy Star New Genesis, I got into the early beta or whatever the case, closed beta for it, and man, when I tell you the experience was completely different, basically reinvigorated my feeling for Phantasy Star all over again. The world is completely different. Basically, how they show you the game within like these CGI trailers that they put in, or the CGI videos that they give you, it pretty much looks like that now. Like almost verbatim, you know, and that's crazy, because when you go back to the original Phantasy Star Online 2, it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really go hand in hand with each other, whereas New Genesis does. The character creation has been amazing. I got a character ready to go on ship 1, ready to rock and roll, to go ahead and defeat some monsters. I forgot the names of all the monsters and everything. It's been a while since, and see, that's the other thing. It's been so long since I've jumped into Phantasy Star, especially Phantasy Star Online 2. I think the last time I played, it was like before they raised the level cap, and the level cap was like at 75. That was the last time I played, and I just fell off of it. I didn't have too many people to play with at the time, and then I didn't get not that I didn't get it, but the end grind just wasn't enough for me. PvP is what really keeps me into games, and the PvP that came out with it down the road wasn't robust enough to keep me involved, or even think about wanting to stay involved within the game. So I completely dropped it. But Phantasy Star New Genesis, with the combat system that they've changed, with the overall character details, with the overall world details and everything that they're doing with it now, man, I would definitely recommend for people to, at least when it releases this upcoming week, give it a shot, download it, see if you're into it, man. And Lord, it looks like it's going to be a fantastic time. And if you're into Phantasy Star, hit me up in the DMs, or just look me up. I Still Reign, everywhere. The T is a 7. Just let me know. I'm on ship 1. Come find me. I'm on that Gundam type of time too, so I got a Gundam character ready to get it. But look, man, yeah, I'm excited for Phantasy Star. It's been one of those things where it's been a long time coming. I was interested in seeing how they were really going to change it overall, and man, when I tell you, I'm 1,000% interested. So I'm excited.
Awesome. So you know what? I'm going to be hopping back into it as
You
well.
should.
Again, it's not the Dreamcast days that I remember of Phantasy Star. I had fun with the first iteration that's been out, and I did enjoy it. I played it, I don't know, probably 60 hours, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Right.
I did enjoy it, but it got to a point. But again, that was when I was still lone wolfing things, right?
Yeah.
So this game is about being with your team, getting your buddies together, and going online and kicking some butt, right? So for me, I'm gonna hop in with you, and we'll see how it goes. I love the customization.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a huge part of this. I love it. I love all the options. Of course, that's where they get you as well, but I love it. So I'm gonna hop back in with you. I can't wait to try it out again and see what they've changed. I watched you play the beta a little bit, which was PCO only, unfortunately. So I can't wait to get my hands back onto it and try it one more time and obviously get with you. So that's gonna be good stuff right there. So Phantasy Star Online 2, get ready, new Genesis. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, of course, PlayStation 5 exclusive as of right now. All you 7 fans out there, and I know there's a gazillion of you out there. This is Intergrade, which is obviously the expanded version of the first one they released. What was it, last year?
2 years ago going on now, I believe.
2019. Yeah, 2019. So this is the edition. So again, I know a ton of people are excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Again, get back to me when the entire game is out. I know all of you tell me that this is a full game. Look, until it's all complete, I don't want to talk about it. And if that's 10 years from now, because that's what it looks like, the kind of plan they're on here, so be it. I'll be playing Final Fantasy VII Remake in 10 years from now. But I can't, again, I can't deny, obviously.
It came out in
populator.
Came out in 2020, Paul.
2020. Okay, so it was last year, 1 year ago. So get ready for that, PlayStation 5 people. I know a lot of you are. That's a huge deal. So enjoy that for sure. Ninja Gaiden. Master Collection.
Thoughts on?
Let's get it. Except problem. So again, Ninja Gaiden. I love playing these games, even though I'm terrible at them, right? I don't do Souls games, and Ninja Gaiden is very close to it. Yeah. I started my journey with Ninja Gaiden back in the NES, right? When you had no save points, one of the hardest games ever created from my childhood memories. And a lot of people agree with me, right? So it was tough. But I love it. I love being a ninja. I always will. So I will always play these games. Now, I was excited for this Master Collection, except I found out that we're getting the edited version, the
Sigma version. Yeah.
No limb chopping off version, right? And for me, that kind of dulled my excitement for this game.
A little bit.
That brought down my hype. So I don't think I'm going to be picking this up day one. I think I'm going to wait for a bit, wait for a sale. Maybe it'll show up in a Game Pass too. That's always something that may happen. But I think for me, knowing that it is going to be the lesser versions, I'm less excited. I know you're a big Ninja Gaiden fan too. Are you picking it up still?
Me personally, I am a Ninja Gaiden fan. I am a Ryo Hayabusa fan himself, just because I'm a ninja guy, man. I fuck with the ninjas. You know what I mean?
How can you not be? How can you not?
I never personally was able to jump in the Ninja Gaiden, mainly because, again, it's when you're playing multiplayer. When multiplayer games take over your life, that's what you're invested in, and that's what you're always into. So I completely looked over Ninja Gaiden. I haven't even watched people play Ninja Gaiden, just because I always knew that I was going to at some point get into it. But never had a reason to go back to it. It is a turnoff that they're taking the gore route, and they're taking the limb dismemberment off. I feel like that is such a turnoff for this game. I understand it's because they couldn't get the original coding for it. It is what it is. I still don't understand that. How do you as a company lose the coding or cannot piece together the coding, or the coding is corrupted for your original games? But again, it is what it is. I probably will jump into it though, just because I do like those difficult games, Souls-like games that try to really whoop your ass or whatever the case might be, but I get enjoyment out of that because 9 times out of 10, I love the difficulty in games, especially it just makes it so much more enjoyable for myself. I usually don't have too much of a struggle with them, and it's something about a challenge that it just entices me sometimes. But Ninja Gaiden Master
You're all
Collection.
about that.
Yeah, that's a fact. The Ninja Gaiden Master Collection is something that I'm definitely interested in, but I am turned off by the fact that I'm not going to be able to play like they did like in the OG days with all the gore and everything. That it is a turn off for me, but I probably still touch on it. So I'm not too off by it. So well, I guess we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Man. I can't wait. Again, if it gets down enough on sale, I'll hop back in just to try it out because I want to see if they improve. And I'll wait to see actually some reviews and see if they improved it at all or if it's just a straight port. And I want to see what they've actually done and how much better it's going to get. So.
And that's I think I'm gonna see because I don't want to buy it day one necessarily or get it day one because that is something that I want to see. Now if I can, because I know. What is it? 1 or 2 of the games isn't on the PlayStation 3 or whatever the case, so I can't emulate those. So I know I wouldn't be able to do that. I know some people are saying, "Oh, you can just go buy the older versions or whatever the case." Hopefully, if they gave it the Mass Effect Legendary kind of effect to it, that would be amazing. That would be a willing enough upgrade for me to definitely go in and try it and give it a shot without a shadow of a doubt. Hey, and man, if y'all would be interested in me streaming it, first time running through the Ninja Gaiden series, let me know. That's if I'm not too heavily invested into Phantasy Star or any other different game that may come out between now and then.
Biomutant, don't forget.
That's the other thing too, man. Like I really want to jump into Biomutant. So it's man you just reminded me of that. See, you reminded me in the beginning, and then you reminded me of that now. And see, this is what happens. You get these games, you get interested, your games get put in your backlog, and now I got to look at these games and say, man, I got to make a choice because I fully commit when I play. So, but man, I guess we'll see. I'm excited either way, man. Just to see it making a comeback, pulling attention again. It's amazing.
Yeah, me too. Hey, you know what? I just Leo in the chat. Shout out to Leonidas. GBTB Nation showing up. Dreadpool's here as well. Lady AF was in here as well. Hey, Leo just said Mighty Goose looks fun. So I just looked it up and it is a 2D side-scrolling shooter like
with a goose?
A goose. Yeah. In the old SNK style.
So it's like Earthworm Jim, but with a goose.
Kind of Earthworm Jimmy, or actually more like Metal Slug.
Metal Slug with a goose.
Straight up, the tank animation looks like Metal Slug.
That's funny as hell. That is funny as hell.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, Mighty Goose. Go check it out, guys. So anyways, I just had to look that up because I was like, what is Leo talking about?
Metal Slug with a goose.
All right, so let's see. On our list, we've got Game Builder Garage coming out for the Switch. Hey. This is not my style of game, but you know what? It comes out June 11th. And it looks interesting, kind of a puzzler aspect where you kind of got to I'm assuming kind of lead. It looks like you're leading some character through different levels by drawing. It looks like it's got the touchscreen aspect to it. Design and share your own games. It says too.
Yeah. So it looks like
simulation. So yeah. So why not? Yeah, absolutely. June 11th as well. Guilty Gear Strive. Phil, if you're listening. Booty, Sarah Bond, Greenberg, any of you listening to us, I know you do every Saturday morning, just like everybody else shows up here for their Saturday morning cartoons. They show up for Saturday with Steel and Pong.
Right here.
And Living Split Screen right here, Saturday morning. Listen, guys, listen. ArcWorks. This is, you need to talk to these people, right? Arc System Works is one of the most underrated developers when it comes to fighting games ever. And their animation style is so beautiful.
Facts.
Absolutely. They got some of the
Love
highest
Guilty.
quality production cutscene animation
Facts.
in any game. Go get these guys on Xbox, please. I miss my Guilty Gear. Again, I'm not even a fighter guy from the standpoint I'm not going to learn all the moves. I am a button masher through and through. I am flat out. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be that guy. It's just not me to learn
Right.
all the moves and to sit there. But playing through Guilty Gear, even as a button masher, is such a fantastic time that I want Guilty Gear to come to Series X. It needs to come to Series X. I want this here. I am missing it. Just looking at it now, I'm kind of sad that I don't have my PlayStation 4 anymore, so I could go pick this up. So
Hey, yeah.
bring Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is one of my favorite fighting franchises of all time. Again, for all the reasons I stated, the animation is absolutely top notch. Legit is like it feels when you're playing the game that you're just watching any anime. That's exactly what
Yeah,
it feels
facts.
like. The
Facts.
movements, the special effects, all that stuff is off the charts. And I know you enjoy it too, don't you, Steve?
Oh yeah, I'm heavily Guilty Gear. Between Guilty Gear and Blaz Blue, they're like top of the line as far as like those anime style fighter games for me, especially back in the day, man. I can just remember playing hours and hours and hours with the bros, just sitting on that CRT TV and just going crazy on some Guilty Gear or Blaz Blue, man, because we were so heavily invested and they played similar to each other too. That was the other crazy thing about it if you really think about it. Guilty Gear Strive is definitely day one for me. I'm gonna get it on PC. I'm gonna be probably heavily invested. I completely forgot that this game was.
Stream that. You better stream it because I gotta live life through you.
I probably will.
have to live
I'm definitely
life
gonna
through
have to. I'm not gonna tell anybody that I'm like the top of the line fighter, but I will say this: when I get into a fighter that I like I did with MK, well, like I do with a lot of fighters. Typically, what I do, I find my 2, maybe 3 characters that I really love playing with, and then those are the characters that I'll use from the end of time for that entire time the game is out. That's just the type of fighter that I am. I'm not going to dedicate learning every character and whatever else the case might be. I'll learn that through other people fighting me. I'd rather pick my 2 or 3 that I really love, and then just really take advantage of those characters, learning the combos, taking it into training and everything else, going online, probably getting smacked around a little bit. But overall, I love these style of games for the same reasons that Paul was saying, man. The art style, the anime feel, the overall combo systems that they put into these games.
Story is good.
The story is
the
story is always solid. Man, you can't get enough of these, and I'm excited for it to release this upcoming week too. It's another one of those that I'm probably gonna have to set off to the side. And yeah, they did do Dragon Ball Fighter Z 2. I'm not, just because I've been playing Dragon Ball Fighters for such a long time. Fighter Z isn't one that I wanted to get into. I'd rather them bring back Budokai Tenkaichi 3 because that is the utmost and undeniable Dragon Ball game that has ever existed as far as a fighter goes.
Can you say that again?
Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is one of the greatest fighters as far as like anime fighters goes for everything that it brought in. Not only the combat system, but also, setting up your character, building up your character, setting up, just going down the line, man. It was undeniable, one of the greatest games. That's why I looked over Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and I'm just not into that, man. But whereas like I am heavily invested into like a Guilty Gear or a Blaz Blue, just because, I mean, those are like throwbacks for me, you know what I mean? And they're so different from one another to where you can get invested in the characters and you can find your couple characters or whatever the case that you love and just go to town with them too. So, and man, from everything that I've seen, the gameplay and everything else, it looks like it's going to be an exciting time, man. So I'm looking forward to hopping in. So that's a fact.
Absolutely. That was Fighting Scene with Living Split Screen on Saturday. So, hey, guess what? We love talking about games. As you can tell, Steele and I love a lot of different styles of games. And again, even if I'm not good at them, I still love games. So therefore, you're going to get this, right? You're going to get this talk because I do miss having a Guilty Gear. I really, really, really do. So, and then we're going to end this with the big one, June 11th. June 11th is a big day, man.
Yeah, it
Holy
is.
cow. man, right on the cusp of E3, right? The E3 Eve, right? This
That
is
shit is
this is the
crazy.
deal. Sony comes through, the big one. Everybody's been hyping this. Everybody's been waiting on this. Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, June 11th, PlayStation 5. You all know it. This is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. This is one of the games that's going to be a showcase,
Yep.
especially this year for next gen hardware and PlayStation, obviously, exclusively.
Yep.
So this is the one that takes advantage of the SSD. They've talked it up. They've talked it up more than anybody ever wants to hear about again. But this is the one game they claim that had to be done on PlayStation 5 because of the SSD.
Right.
So everything that I've seen looks absolutely phenomenal. It is a drop dead gorgeous game. I have never been the biggest Ratchet and Clank fan.
Me neither.
But I think they're fun. It's just not day one for me, and it hasn't been day one for a lot of people. But I am happy, obviously, for Sony and for Insomniac especially, that they are going to hit this at the right time.
Yeah.
There isn't a whole lot of games for next gen right now, as we all know.
Right.
And this hits in a perfect spot. So Ratchet and Clank's going to go to the next level. This is going to get huge sales. Ratchet and Clank has always been, I think, I looked at the numbers. I think they've sold, got like, what do they have? 13, 15 games, I think, in the Ratchet and Clank series. If you cover everything, that they've been out on mobile, they've been out everywhere. There is something like a crazy number of Ratchet and Clank games. And I think they lifetime, it's estimated they're at around 26 to 28 million total sales.
There isn't a whole lot if you think about it, but I mean, it's
No,
still
no,
good.
no.
It's still nice.
The main games has always sold between like 1 million and like I think 4 million was a top, somewhere in that neighborhood. Again, I'm not quoting stats here, guys. I'm just throwing it out there, but I looked at the numbers, and it's always been that game that everybody's kind of enjoyed, but it's never been a system seller. It's never been a day one go reserve,
Right.
you pre-order it and get ready, right? Ratchet and Clank has always been just a really great series. But this one is going to take it to the next level due to the fact, number one, the visuals are off the chart. Insomniac has become one of the premier developers, and they've done, they've done wonders with this, and everybody's seen it now. So that right there is going to create the hype. Everybody wants the game to show off their PlayStation 5. Guess what? Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is going to be it. Returnal was something different.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite the showpiece that you would have. It looked fantastic, but it was not to the level of what you're going to get with Ratchet and Clank, with the particle effects, with obviously the dimension travel, which again goes back to the SSD speeds,
right?
All that kind of stuff. They're putting it all together. This is the first game that kind of is going to be the complete next gen experience. And so this is hitting at the right time. Insomniac is going to get huge praise for this. I can guarantee you, I would bet a lot of money on it that the reviews are going to be off the charts for this. Most of the Ratchet and Clanks have scored in the 80s. I expect this one probably to hit 90, 90 plus.
I'm right there with you.
I definitely think they're going to do it. Yeah, this is going to be it. And so I imagine this is going to be, as we've seen with Miles Morales, every time somebody does get their hands on a PlayStation 5, which is extremely hard, Miles Morales is another copy sold. Because we've seen that continue to shoot up the sales charts. Every time there's a new drop of PlayStation 5s, Spider-Man Miles Morales shoots up the charts again, right? So this will be another one of those games that everybody just buys along with their PlayStation 5. So excited for this. When I do eventually get a PlayStation 5, whenever that is, I will pick this up and I will be happy with it because, again, I do enjoy Ratchet and Clank. Again, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If you really wanted to grab me, Sony, use this engine, get Insomniac to do a Sly Cooper, and I'm all in. Okay, Sly Cooper is my game. There was Jackson Daxter. There was Sly Cooper. There was Ratchet and Clank. I was a Sly Cooper guy. I like Jackson Daxter. I liked Ratchet and Clank, but Sly Cooper all day, every day. Give me a thief raccoon, and I'm all in with it. Man, with his turtle scientist friend. just do it. Give me a Sly Cooper and I'm there day one. Okay. But again, Ratchet and Clank, huge deal for Sony, huge deal for Insomniac. Really happy for them. They obviously poured their heart into this one. They continue to prove why they're one of the best developers on the planet. Just from watching the videos, I don't even need to play it to say that this is something special. But what are your thoughts, Steele?
Man, my main thoughts is that Sony is coming through and hitting you with the 2-piece biscuit with the fries. Look, man, it is insane. Not only are they releasing Ratchet and Clank, they're also releasing Guilty Gear. There are technically PlayStation mainly, with Guilty Gear also being available on PC. But it just seems like PlayStation is getting that. They're trying to keep that ball rolling, keeping that hype moving. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. I mean, again, obviously, they're doing these things to stay competitive. They're seeing what Xbox is doing on their side of the fence, and Game Pass is great and all, but Sony will always stick to their guns and say, look, we have exclusives. We know that we can put out quality content, and that's exactly what they're going to do. We're not just saying it's going to get a 90 Metacritic just to be all on Ratchet and Clank's dick or whatever the case might be. No, it's just looking at the reality of the situation and saying, look, Ratchet and Clank, as much as we might not feel it's a system seller, it is the only game that is coming up within Lord knows how long that is a PS5 exclusive, and is going to give people a reason to say, okay, this is what next gen is. And hopefully there's some smoke that we could throw in there later, but hopefully that these words stay true and that we see how this goes, man. Again, I'm also expecting it for it to be about a 90 Metacritic. And that's not bad, man. It's come to be expected, right? I'm expecting it for it to be great. Rivet looks dope. Again, I like the duality between them both. It's not only about Ratchet, but it's also about Rivet, giving you that boy and girl kind of side of things, right? And so that you definitely
Insomniac knows how to hit all those notes.
Yes,
they know how to hit all those notes properly. They know how to put it together.
Exactly,
it just works.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
And so there's no doubt that it's going to pull an audience. There's going to be little girls going to look at this and say, Mommy, look, you see this cute little, you see Rivet. She looks mad dope, and I want to be able to play as her. And then the little boys are going to be like, man, Ratchet, he looks like a superhero to me, or whatever the case might be. Kind of giving you that same kind of feeling that we used to have back in the days. With like Sonic or Mario or or Crash Bandicoot or some of those other iconic heroes from back in the day, Spyro. Ratchet is still on that kind of level, and just seeing what Insomniac is doing, continuing to be the company, kind of like the coalition for it was for Xbox, to put Sony in the backpack and just say, come on, little one, I'm going to take you to victory. So, hopefully it all ends up great. But man, with that being said, though, that's our upcoming games, man. Before we lead into E3, we don't know what else could be coming or is on the way. So that's also more exciting news to look out for. Everybody just pay attention, man. It's going to be an exciting week. We don't know where things are going. So with that being said, man, I do want to shout out some of the people in the chat.
Absolutely. Let's get that chat.
Everybody for being here. We're an hour in, getting it to just coming off the upcoming games. And I just wanted to shout out Six Layer, Just Key, Leonidas, Yago Coogan, Spooky Sprocket, PK, what's going on, my guy? Graphic God, The Blue, Dirt Griggity. Who else we got? Graphic God, Boogeyman, Just Key. Who else we got in here, man? We got Joe Dunmore. Who else? Let's go. We're going to keep scrolling up. We're scrolling up. We're trying to 108. The Dragon is in the building. Check out his content tonight, along with the Shop Podcast that are going live tonight also. Jay's Natural Fitness. What's going on, man? Who else we got in here? We got Casket Repair, who was in here early, showing us some love. Shout out to y'all. We keep scrolling up. Cerebral Paul, what's going on? I heard you said you weren't having that great of a day, man. Hopefully the guys continue to walk with you, man. It's never good to hear about people having a bad day, man. But life loves to challenge the great ones, right? And that's kind of how I try to look at it. And
that's a good thought right there, man.
I mean, I try not. I don't want to compare anybody, anybody else's struggle to another person's struggle, because we all deal with things differently. But I mean, it's one of those things that the challenges always come for the great ones. The reason that, and it's just one of the best ways, one of the best ways, excuse me, I'm just all over the place right now. One of the best ways to just try to look at it. I know it's easier said than done, but again, I'll send many prayers, much energy your way, man. Hopefully things continue to get better. And again, may the gods walk with you all. Everybody that's in the chat, Dreadpool, the Blue, Stanley, Francois, Psycho, man, if I missed anybody, say what's up in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Let us know that you're tuned in to Living Split Screen in the morning, your Saturday morning cartoons for grown-ups, or kids if you're into it. Just know we bring so much energy that the realness may be too much for your eardrums, but
overload.
We're
gonna overload you.
Hellboy, what's going on? There you go. That's what I'm talking about. He's in here. But yeah, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time. We're here to get you locked and loaded, to get you into your weekend, give you unmatched energy, organic conversation, and the authenticity that I feel like is missing from within our community. And with that being said, it's a perfect segue because we're missing a lot of the authenticity that is needed. And it's been a shameful week as far as the community goes in total. I know we didn't necessarily decide where we would like to really start this whole thing off with, but
Never
Pong,
do.
you had some I want to say some heartfelt things that you really wanted to get off. You said it was a rant, but I feel like it's something that really strikes a chord with us because what we're trying to do here is elevate our community, show people that you don't have to be console centric, you don't have to be in this console war BS. To be heavily involved in the gaming universe, or to be able to even talk about it in such a way where everybody can feel it and understand it and just feel the passion that just oozes off of us, for example. So with that being said, man, with the ignorance with the God of War delay.
That's putting it lightly.
With the ignorance of people addressing the Aloy thing with Horizon Forbidden West, like we talked about a little bit about last week. And also, I believe there was one other thing that
the ridiculousness with some members of the community showing up with a picture from Aaron Greenberg and Phil Spencer hanging out with a couple members of the community with Paris Lily.
Yes,
and I forget the girl's name. I apologize, but Paris Lily took the brunt of the hatred.
Yes,
simply for having a picture and going out to lunch with Phil and Aaron. Yeah, that was the other one this week as well. Steele, I think it's just important. Yeah, no, man. I just think it's important. You and I have done this almost weekly. I think that we've had an issue come up where we've discussed some of the craziness, the ignorance, as you put it, the downright stupidity, and just assholeness that shows up now these days when it comes to this stuff. So for those of you who may have missed it, first of all, congratulations, because nobody, again, this is stuff that you shouldn't see when you're trying to look through your Twitter feed and enjoy gaming as a whole. Unfortunately, it rears its ugly head, and it seems almost on a weekly basis at this point. Something comes up and something happens. So let's start with earlier this week. We had Phil, Aaron Greenberg actually posted the tweet of him and Phil and Paris Lily. And I apologize. I forget the girl's name who was in the picture as well. They had gone out to lunch together somewhere, and Aaron just simply posted a picture saying, "Great to be able to get out, to lunch with some friends." I'm paraphrasing his tweet, but that's basically what it said. It was just a picture, right? Yeah. We all know Phil. We all know Aaron. We already know that they're involved in the community, that they are front and center, that Xbox in general has a group of executives who do actually enjoy the people that purchase their products, right? Which is rare, right? And I understand that it's not something you see every day, but it's well known that this is the case.
Yes.
And so he just simply tweeted out, great to finally be with friends. We understand that. we've all been locked up for over a year, right? Most of us, you know, haven't been able to see people in person a lot of the time. It's just showing excitement, man. Paris really took a lot of heat, took a lot of hate,
unnecessary,
because of this. But you know, again, assholes jumping in because how dare he be a friend of Phil and Aaron Greenberg? How dare he go out to lunch with these people? Because that's wrong. Because he's an influencer. He certainly cannot have friends with executives in the business world, because that it means something, right? That again, the name calling, pure hatred, the jealousy, because that, again, I don't know where it stems from. It stems from probably a lot of different places for different people. There's a lot of different sides to this, right? There's a lot of different aspects. Paris Lilly has taken a lot of heat for a lot of different reasons, whether it was cyberpunk, you know, whatever the case may be. He's been called a lot of hateful, ignorant things.
yes,
Just because he's in the position that he is in, and because he gets things from different companies, because he is who he is. Shout out to him for doing what he's done and building the career that he has built.
yes.
But again, people can't have that nowadays. You can't be that without getting all the ugliness as well, right? And that's the unfortunate part. It started there. Then we had Aloy.
It gets worse from here, ladies and gentlemen. It gets worse.
Right. And then we had Aloy. Then we had this whole, again, some of it is jokes. I can appreciate a good joke. Right. I laughed at a couple of them. Right. A couple of them were pretty damn funny. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. And some of that stuff, the console war banter, is okay. That's what we all do. We've been there. This has been going on forever. I went through the Sega Nintendo years. We didn't have social media back then. We still had banter amongst friends, and we still had banter amongst people, you know, just jokingly, you know, ribbing, whatever you want to call it, about the other person's console if you did not necessarily enjoy that console, right? Or if you thought one was better than the other. This has always gone on. That is fine. I don't have an issue with this. Then you get serious about it, and then it turns ugly. Right? And then you start talking about, you got people tweeting about how why do Sony protagonist women not meet their standards? Right?
Yeah.
Live up to this some expectation of being some type of model looking protagonist.
Don't understand.
Why does it have right? This is when we get into the bullshit. This is the shit. This is the, and I hate the word toxic because it's been overused. But again, it applies here from the simple fact is that this is when, as you and I've talked about plenty of times, Steele, gaming community as a whole cannot be taken seriously by those people that still side-eye us, that still look at us and go, oh, you play games. Yes, a lot of that has gone away, but then there's always stupid shit like this that brings that back. And it shows people the immaturity of this community. And it's not everybody by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
The majority of people are grown adults who act that way. But then we have these man-childs. We have these babies still running around in this community that give it a bad look and give it a bad name by saying this stupid stuff, okay? And acting out a certain way because you're whatever you think somehow we are in the middle of a war, a real war between these consoles, and one side has to die or one side has to go away. That's not how this works, people. These are video games that we are here to enjoy and have fun with. And if you aren't having fun, if you wake up in the morning and you have to put on your camouflage and you have to put on your face paint because you think that you need to go to war that day against the other side over video games, you need to go get some help. And I'm not joking, and I don't say that jokingly at all. It's a mental illness if you feel that way about this, okay? Because it's not right. That's not how the real world works, and that's not how the real people here who are enjoying this industry think. We don't think that way. We all are here to have fun and talk about the stuff that we love. And yes, we deep dive, and yes, we speculate, and yes, we criticize, and yes, we do all of that other stuff because we are adults. So it's not just always about sitting down and playing that game, but some of that stuff is adult stuff that we do have fun with. But if you think that this is an actual war that one side has to win and the other side has to die, need some help. Okay? That's not reality. And that's not how people interact or should interact on a daily basis in any way, shape, or form when it comes to video games. There's a whole lot bigger world problems out there, okay, that need to be solved than whether Sony's better than Xbox or Xbox is better than Nintendo, okay? Or if Nintendo's better than both of them, or PC is the master race. None of that stuff matters, okay, in the real world.
No, it doesn't.
And you can't take this stuff seriously. And if you are, it's because you're missing something. And I don't judge people. I don't judge anybody as far as that stuff goes. Everybody has their own life and their own problems and their own things going on that can cause them to go down this road. And I get it. I understand. We've all been in bad spots before, and I never will judge another person for their spot. But at the end of the day, if you honestly believe that in your heart of hearts, and that's what you wake up to do every day, you're missing something. Go outside. Go find somebody to talk to, because you need to find something else to do, because that's not what this whole gaming world is about in any way, shape, or form at all.
No.
So again, jokes are fine, but when you take it to this level, you start getting personal and you start questioning why a made-up fictional character doesn't look like a supermodel and how that's bad. You got a problem.
No, and it's a huge problem. It's a gigantic problem, bro. And I don't know if some of y'all may see this on screen right now. This is what Aloy looks like currently in Horizon Forbidden West. This is what they showed you as a character, as what Aloy is being portrayed as. And the people had the nerve to want to really dig in their pocket, dig deep in their skeleton closet and say, yo, why isn't she a baddie? Why doesn't she look like my Hintei chick that I beat off in the corner to?
Oh, bro, the pillow. They got the pillows.
Your pillowcase, your socks, whatever you're doing, bro. Like, this shit is getting corny. My problem with this entire thing, and we haven't even started with the Alana Pierce thing, where people have the nerve.
The worst.
Where people have the nerve to really jump into with this shit, and it's not the first time. This is the thing about it. I know what drives me up the wall is that this might not be the first time that this is talked about, but this is an ongoing problem. For me, I've been in the internet era for Lord knows how long. I grew up with the internet damn near. I was a 90s kid. Internet became a really huge thing in the early 2000s, late 90s, dial up. I'm pretty sure y'all remember that. So I've gained the thick skin over the years to really to be able to deal with the internet. I'm also a guy though. It is so embarrassing to me that women within our industry, as much as we want to see them there, cannot be properly portrayed, because we as men have to feel like they need to live to some outlandish standard that y'all can't even fucking pull in real life. Y'all want a bad bitch in the game, but can't pull a bad bitch in real life. I am thoroughly convinced that you guys don't get pussy. That is it for me. The fact that this is even a concern tells me that, simply put. And the nerve for people to be like, okay, we've had representation. I'm not even gonna say proper, because there's just billions of women in the world. There's billions of people in the world. For you to try to tell a game designer how they should have designed their character when you haven't drawn a goddamn thing in your life, have never made a game, have never attempted to really do shit with yourself, want to tell a motherfucker what they really need to do with their game, with their design, is fucking absurd to me. And then y'all want to sit here and give out people threats and say, oh, well, it's not worth me getting the game because the chick isn't a baddie. Like, what are we doing? And then people want to pull up things like, okay, let's really get into it, Paul, because people have the nerve. Excuse me, if y'all see the chats where y'all ain't showing y'all nothing important, but people have the nerve to say shit like this to make people like Alana want to come out. Because look, there's so many people. I've seen people say, oh, we got to get more women in the industry. We got to get more women involved in pocket. We got to get more women. There's not a lot of women gamers. Oh, and it's disturbing too that there's so many opposite ends of the spectrum, right? And I'm sorry, because I'm so amped up about this shit now, because this is how I felt about them last night, right? you'll want all this attention from women in the industry or whatever. And yes, I understand that we do have that opposite end of the spectrum where there's hot tub streams and everything now, where women really take advantage of that because they know there's motherfuckers like you or motherfuckers like, maybe not anybody in the chat, so I don't want anybody to take this personally, but there's motherfuckers like these people who have to be corny and say these fucking absurd shit that I'm about to tell y'all, because this isn't the first instance of this. And that's another thing that I want people to understand. This happens all the time, where there's women that constantly come out and say, oh, I just get assaulted by men all the time. I don't like being out in the public like that because I constantly get assaulted by other men or even other women that expect them to be at some fucking level that they can't maintain their goddamn self. Again, look, this is what Alana Pierce has said, and hopefully y'all can see this. I'm pretty sure y'all can with everything that I have set up. Aside from the ones I got for being hired in the first place, I think this is my first game dev related abusive message. I finally been initiated. Let's go. And it's crazy. And you know she's built up thick skin throughout the years because she's being playful about this. You know what I mean? And even though it may affect her to some level, she's being playful about it. But again, when you're in this industry, you have to have thick skin, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say unfortunately because we're in the internet era. People like to be bullies behind a keyboard because they can't be,
cowards.
Nothing can be done. They're cowards. Not only that, but they feel safe behind that keyboard. And that's fine. People have done that since early PC gaming. Like people used to say, oh, Xbox started all this toxicity. No, people have done this since early versions of multiplayer PC gaming when you can chat or whatever the case might be and say the most racist shit that you could possibly think of in existence, whatever, right? Look, so she goes on to say, because this is the message she got. LMAO, you get hired, then God of War is delayed for the first time ever. Mind you, it's not the first time. So too busy dreaming about getting gang raped by all of your simp Twitch subs to actually do work. Hope it happens if someone streams and you get fired because they know that you're a useless whore and the game comes out in 2021 and PS5 only. Are you fucking serious, dude? This is insane. This is so insane to me. And y'all wonder why women like look at y'all or look at us, why gamers don't get taken seriously. And we're the #1 entertainment business in the world. Gamers don't get taken seriously because people still think that we're corny and our children. Because we like the console war. We like to argue amongst each other about dumb shit. We like to fucking sit here and talk about each other in this facet when there's so many other fucking things going on within the world that's so much more important than this petty bullshit.
It's more important to go ahead and threaten sexual violence against a woman.
Like,
that's more important.
Fuck? I don't get this shit. And if y'all don't think that this shit is corny, like to me, I don't pay it any mind. I don't pay this shit any mind, but I do feel like it has to be addressed because we spend so much time overlooking things, and we give so many people a platform, the energy, the time, the existence to be within our community. And people retweet it, share it out. Oh, look what this guy said. No, mute the motherfucker, block him, and keep it pushing. Report him or whatever the fuck that needs to happen, because we need to move forward as a gaming community. And I'm tired of these people trying to tell people what they need to be doing or what should be happening when you have not designed a fucking game yourself. You have not made a character, drawn a goddamn thing yourself. And even if you have, guess what? You want another thing? Because I know people like to always go back to, oh, why do people always feel this way about anime characters and this, that, and the other thing? All these anime characters are over-sexualized. Guess what? I guess you didn't. I bet you didn't know this. Most of those anime female characters that people thirst over are created by women. So they have an understanding, like the people that design these games have an understanding that you have to make an attractive character, an appealing character. I should say more so. I'm not going to say attractive because something being attractive is in the eye of the beholder. But they have to make an appealing character. Just because it doesn't look like the baddest chick that you've ever seen in the world does not fucking matter. Does the chick work? Does it work within the world? She looks like Aloy in that example, looks like A woman that went through a post-apocalyptic world, dealing with robot dinosaurs, diving in and out of the water, sweaty, trying to save the fucking world from what's going on within that ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't understand why people take it to this fucking level. I understand. I mean, it's because people just love to be corny. People just love to try to live out their lives and throughout the virtual world. But this shit is sad. And the fact that we constantly just accept this shit and not take it for what it is or don't address it or whatever the case might be bothers me, man. Like, I feel like I'm lost in my rant, man. But
no,
it has
to be called out still. No, it has to be called out still. Again, that right there against Alana Pierce is one of the worst examples that you can have. And like you said, Steele, it happens all the damn time. And why does it happen all the damn time? Because as a community grows, right? As we get bigger, as we get more mainstream, right? As the club gets bigger, the gaming club gets bigger, right? More crazies, more assholes, more pieces of shit like that get in. And it's up to the community to make sure these people know where they stand. And it gets harder to police, but there's more of us, right? There are more of us out there that love this community, that love the video game industry, that love the people that work in it and want to see nothing but just great content come from people and people to be able to share it with us so that we get to experience it. Like you always say, Steele, like Everborn says, it's an art, right? Yes. I want to see this art form grow, continue to grow. But as that happens, more of the bad people are invited in as well.
Yeah.
We have as a community a responsibility. And again, everybody has to be comfortable with doing whatever they want to do when they see stuff like this happen. But we have to ostracize these people. We have to push these people out. We have to make them understand that this bullshit, this fuckery, that they wake up every morning, think that they're going to be funny, they're going to get attention, they're going to steal somebody's energy for the day because they're energy demons, whatever the case may be. We have to let them know that it's not accepted. We do not want that here. I'm a firm believer in freedom of speech, right? And I'm a firm believer that people can say whatever the hell they please. At the end of the day, threatening sexual violence at a woman is never acceptable, never allowed. And these people are these people, again, I don't judge people, but I will judge somebody who treats another human being in any fashion like that. Look, my profession my real life profession that I've been doing for nearly 20 years, I've been hearing this shit nonstop. So I'm kind of numb to it.
Yeah.
I get threats. Sad. Oh, it is. It is. But again, my expectations of human beings because of what I do for a living and because of the things I've heard has dropped so far.
Right.
This shit doesn't surprise me. Does it still get me upset? Absolutely. Obviously it does. But at the end of the day, I just don't have a high expectations for human beings in general because I understand that we are all just freaking animals. We really are. When they show their faces like this and when they attack another person like this, unwarranted in any way, shape, or form, that has to be called out. That has to be completely 100% put down. They need to understand they are not welcome here anymore.
Yes.
And anybody who is friends with that person on Twitter, whoever it was, Alana was, I don't even know because I kind of disagree. She didn't even show who it was. I would have put him on blast or her on blast. I think that whoever is friends with that person, whoever knows that person, should be calling, reaching out, DMing, and making sure that that person knows what they did is completely wrong. And if they continue to do this, then there is an issue and somebody needs to step in with this person personally and take charge because this simply just cannot happen. Okay. And again, like Steele was talking about, like we've talked about constantly, this game industry is now one of the biggest forms of media in the entire world. And we have to treat it as such, that it is a gift And not everybody gets to enjoy this gift and come into a place like this, into a space like Twitter, and decide to spout off and start being violent towards people.
Facts.
Or getting personal with people anytime they want to, just because they can. Again, free speech, all about it. But at the end of the day, there's consequences for some of your speech. And there's got to be a consequence here. Again, this is wrong on every single level, as just from being a human being and treating other human beings with respect. Again, if somebody disrespects you, absolutely. But these people are cowards. These people would never say this to their mom. These people would never say it to their grandma. They would never come out. They wouldn't say it to her face. Absolutely. At the end of the day, they would not say it to her face. Our keyboard warriors. I've dealt with telephone toughies my entire life. Again, I've heard almost those exact same words about my mom and about my sister because somebody didn't like me on the other line of the phone, right? At the end of the day, all of it is wrong because none of that would be said in person. This has to stop. Again, that's why Steele and I, we're passionate about what we do here. We're passionate about this community. We're passionate about the game industry nonstop. Part of that passion is also calling out this bullshit to stop. Again, we have gotten a much bigger club now. It's not back in the day. Back in the day, it was more select club and we were getting bullied for being gamers, right? Been there, done that. We are now at the point where we've got a big, gigantic club. So you're going to have more of these people show up and try to ruin things. It's like, you know what? If you throw a private party for 10, 15 people, and that your one friend invites one of their drunk buddies over and he starts messing with the girls and just causing a ruckus, it's real easy to get rid of that one guy.
Right.
But if you're going to throw a block party and all of a sudden you got, a couple carloads and 15 people show up and start causing a ruckus, it gets a little harder to control. But it's still the responsibility to try to get it under control and get those people out of there so everybody can enjoy what's going on. And this takes away from that. Steele and I don't like to talk about these serious issues all the time, but these are serious issues that need to be addressed, and we're going to do it here.
Yeah.
Again, stop it. When you see it, stop it. Call it out. Do what you got to do, whatever you're comfortable with. I don't ever expect anybody to go out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Do what is right and make sure that this does not continue.
And what's crazy?
It's ugly.
It's crazy just to jump in there with you, Pong. It's I give kudos to people like Corey Barlaw that came out and said, yo, especially with the whole, because it continues with God of War being delayed because I know they gave a date, but let's be honest, who was really expecting for it to come out this year? But even with the God of War being delayed and people riding the fucking devs back about the game being delayed or the game being cross-gen, like, bruh, like y'all are so stuck up in y'all ass about you wanting whatever that you want that you cannot understand how game development works, and you call yourself a gamer.
They don't care, Steele. They don't care.
I don't give a fuck if you care or not. Don't
want to be ignorant.
I don't care about that shit. Don't say shit then. And I know, again, like you said, you got freedom of speech. People can say whatever the hell they want. You're absolutely right. But guess what? Just like you were kind of saying, Palm, people used to get picked on back in the day about this whole gaming shit, about anime, but there's numbers of things people used to get picked on. I don't necessarily have that direct relation to that, but I do have the relation that I used to stick up for people that felt like they were getting bullied by people because they were gamers or because they liked anime or whatever else the case might be. People never knew that I was doing this shit because I never had to really talk about it. I bring it up and they'd be like, oh, that's cool. That's what's up. I was treated differently in that fact. So yes, not everybody gets treated the same, but it's always been an ongoing fact that anytime that you bring this shit up, people already have this expectation of what a gamer is. You're a weirdo. You have no real life. You don't have hobbies. Not knowing that gaming is a hobby. Gaming has saved lives. Doctors are now recommending that you play games. My wife had a stroke last year. You know, one of the most beneficial things, and she's 28 years old, 29 now, but you know one of the most beneficial things that has helped her is gaming, motor functions, thought processes. One of the most beneficial things. It's been proven. And we still have the nerve to go out here and talk shit about these people like we actually know what their lives are. You have to realize these people are actual people just like me and you are. Go listen to these game dev interviews. They're just as nervous talking about this shit as we are doing this podcast. Like, I get lost in thought a lot of the time sometimes, and I get paranoid about that shit. Fortunately, I have years of customer service and sales experience, almost fucking 20 years of it, because I was beat in my head by my father, that, you know, how to talk, how to present yourself, how to, you know, deal with people and whatnot. And that I grew up the internet, that I can deal with this shit. And that I have this expectation. And it doesn't make it any better. Yes, on the opposite side of the spectrum, when you do have people who indulge in it. You know what I mean? But to each his own. Whether you're doing OnlyFans, whether you're doing hot tub shit, whether you're doing whatever the case might be, I don't care about any of that. Just we as gamers have to set the expectation for it. There's a place for that shit. Put it somewhere else, because it's not what we're trying to do within our gaming community. It is a shame that women specifically do not feel comfortable in the gamer space. That women specifically most of the time look at men and say, oh, if you're playing the game, you're mad weird. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with you. Mind you, that's not an experience that everybody's had. And that also happens on the other end of the spectrum. I've seen women that are into gaming where men would be like, oh, you're a gamer? That's fucking stupid. That's weird. I don't get why you do that. Not knowing that it's helping this person maybe mentally get away from what reality is. And no, anything in overabundance can be unhealthy for you, of course. Duh. Like, come on, let's be real. We're all adults or young adults here, man. Like, let's be honest with each other. But the bullshit that continues to happen within this community and people not addressing it, and you continue to support these people, is a problem. Don't come at me. Don't come on my shows. Don't come in my DMs. Don't follow me if you with this shit. I don't want it. At the end of the day, I don't sit here and live on Twitter. I don't live on any of these social platforms like I might have used to back in the day. I don't. So I can personally care less about it. But at the end of the day, it needs to be addressed, and everybody needs to put attention to it like they have throughout the week. I know Boom's brought attention to it. You know what I'm saying? I know we brought some attention to it last night, and there's been some other shows that have brought attention to this shit because it needs to be addressed. It's unwarranted, man. We have to stop attacking the devs. We have to stop attacking women. We have to stop attacking people over something that we're supposed to be passionate about in our hobby.
It's fun.
It's fun. If we're ever going to move forward, we have to end this shit and see a way to move forward. And
grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up.
Like, at the end of the day, enjoy, like you say, Pong, love what you play what you love. End of the day. All that other shit in between is fucking irrelevant. We can have a conversation, but that's something completely different. If you have to take it to a point where you have to make it personal or attack the person that you're talking to, you have a fucking problem, and you need to look at yourself in the mirror and address that shit. Just because you see these people at E3 or any of these other gamer conferences, they wouldn't do that shit in real life. And if they would, I guarantee you, try that shit with me and see how I address you. Because the way that I was raised, the way that I came up, I'm liable to smack the shit out of you. I'm not with that shit. And that shit is corny. It has to be realized that that's what it is. And I'm not sorry for going on a tangent. I'm pretty sure I can speak for me and Paul. We're not sorry about going into this tangent about this shit. There's a few other things that we could be sitting here talking about. But this passion that y'all are feeling, this is what we have going on. And again, it's not just in our Twitter sphere. It's about the bigger picture. This is something that's been going on. People get on the internet and feel so safe. It's fucking embarrassing, man. And it's corny as hell. Again, how I came up, we don't accept this type of shit. And it is what it is at that fact. Other than that, Paul, you got anything else to say that you want to wrap this time to talk?
Man, you put a bow on it, brother. So again, it's what it is, man. We're going to continue to talk about this stuff. You know, we'd rather do a whole show about the fun stuff and about everything that we enjoy, but when shit like this goes down, and unfortunately it's happening more and more, we're going to continue to call it out. And appreciate the chat, you guys. You know, again, you guys in here, you know, preach it and everything else in the chat. We see you, we appreciate you. You're a part of this community, and that's what we want to foster here and help foster here, is our love for gaming. But we don't have to put up with the ugliness, and we don't have to put up with the bullshit that happens, that people feel they can get away with nowadays, and we're not going to. We're going to speak out on it. So we appreciate all the love and support that you guys gave us in the chat during our rant. And again, if you see this shit, call it out for what it is, and continue to push these people out. They do not belong here. And if they can't fix themselves and they can't grow up, we don't want them in this community. We don't want them around at all. Right? And that's the way it has to be. So again, appreciate you all. Love you all. Thanks for listening to us get on this subject. I know it's not the fun one, but it is what it is. It's just ugliness, and it needs to be spotlighted so the cockroaches run away. That's all there is to it.
And don't be scared to block, mute, and unfollow anybody. It is internet. There's billions of people in the world. They're a little community of 10,000 people. You can find another 10,000 people. There's enough people out here in the world. You should see the bigger problem is, why isn't our community bigger than what it is? Let's look at that. That's more so what we need to be addressing. The games being cross-gen and everything else, that's something completely different, but we should not be attacking people for this shit. We shouldn't. It is what it is. People are getting more accessibility. That's what it's about. Game Pass is an excellent service. Like, these companies are changing the game, trying to be more competitive, trying to fight for your dollar. At the end of the day, that's why all this is going on. Like Pong says all the time, we're in the golden age of gaming. We need to bring attention to people playing games at 60 FPS. That's a better argument to be having right now. People settling for 30 FPS games. We should be playing at 60. You know what I mean? Like, people are so settling for 4K when we can get games that are upscaled and get more details and have a greater experience, and you actually feeling your game and making you as the player feel like you're inside of that world. That is so much more important. That's what we're trying to move into. That's what this whole entire push is for. Yes, the next gen games are coming, and yes, things are different from the way they were before. We're not moving into generation to generation, as we see with Sony. They talk about they believe in generations, and they don't. They wanted Xbox to lead the charge with this whole moving games into the next generation, because why would you leave 100 million console players behind? And you could feel like, oh, well, we have to move on. What's the point? This, that, and other thing. The point is money. They want to make the money. Not only that, but why leave those players, why leave them behind and give them more of an incentive to move forward? Oh, again, PC has never had to worry about this. We talked about this a little bit last night, clarifying the whole master race thing. The reason it's called the master race, shout out to 108, is because we've been able to carry over everything that we have ever acquired on PC. Period. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to question it. It's not a second thought. That's why people consider, and the whole master race thing was somebody making fun of the PC, the whole PC thing. And now it's been taken as a good thing. Oh, the master race. Nah, just realize it for what it is. It hasn't been a bad thing. Why are you making it a bad thing now? If you have the opportunity to move forward, then move forward. Not everybody is you. Not everybody has that opportunity. You don't have a right to say, oh, well, who gives a fuck about those people? Who gives a fuck about you? How about that? Let's move forward. We want to move gaming forward. Let's help people feel their games and give them an understanding of what they should actually care about, not the marketing spiel that we constantly get and gets constantly spewed out. And it just is, and it just is what it is, man. There's cross-gen games coming. There's great games coming. These games are taking it to that next level. If you're looking for first-party experiences, man, they're coming. It is what it is. If you don't want to wait, go wherever you need to do and play what you need to play. Love what you play what you love. That's it. No, there's no other smoke that needs to be had from there. And if you want smoke, let's have a conversation. We can have a whole YouTube discussion about this shit. You know what I mean? It is
Absolutely.
what it is. It is what it is.
That's what it's there for. Yeah.
Look, much love to, again, like Paul was saying, much love to everybody in chat. We greatly appreciate you guys for being here, locked in into the Saturday morning show, Living Split Screen, where we go live 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, where we are non-console centric. We talk about everything within the gaming space. As you obviously see, we bring you the passion, the authenticity, the organic nature of what gaming should really be about, because I feel like it is lacking within our gaming sphere. With that being said, I do definitely want to touch on some quick things.
We got some bright spots.
We do.
Steel.
We got a lot of bright
E3
spots.
is around the corner. We got leaks coming out. We got all sorts of craziness happening. Little things here and there are popping off. And this is the fun time. So we can definitely bring the mood back up. We got the serious stuff out of the way. But yeah, we got plenty to get into here, Steel, that we could touch on. I know we're already what, over 100-minute mark almost.
Oh yeah, we're definitely an hour and 45 minutes in.
Again, here we go.
We always find a way to do it.
Another Saturday, brother. It's another Saturday. We do.
We'll definitely move through some of these things. We move through some of these things pretty quickly. I guess I'll start to bring the energy back up. I guess we could talk a little bit about the rumor. Again, this is a fun rumor. Just because,
the one this morning.
From this morning. Shout out to Season Game and Ains and everything that they do out there.
He just popped in here. Ains popped in while we were on a rant,
Portia Power. Much love to you, man. I love what you got going on over there. You have an excellent website that does excellent content. Again, if you haven't checked out, if you're still on the fence about Biomutant, go check out Ainsley's Biomutant review. It is one of the best reviews, one of the best representations of what you could expect out of Biomutant. It's honest, it's forthright, and it's authentic. And again, that's something that we preach here, and it hits those notes on the head. Go check that out over at Season Gaming. But look, we had the rumor of Persona 5 Royale. This has been something that's been in the background, man, for quite a bit. What do you think, man?
Oh, look, man, this has been something that's been coming for a long time. Again, shout out to Season Gaming this morning. They put up an article. Now, there's a couple pieces to this rumor this morning, which happened actually, I think, in the wee hours of the morning. I think it started with somebody reporting that, and now this, I've read some current stuff on this, and there's some disputing of it. But supposedly in Korea, Persona 5 Royale had been rated for Xbox. Okay. And again, this smoke has been around for a long time. We've been waiting to see some flames on this. Most people believe that it was only a matter of time. But the big deal is obviously we've seen Sega bring Yakuza series over, and stuff like that. And they've seen a lot of success, but everybody, as far as fans go of Sega, are also generally fans of Atlus, and Atlus is a developer who makes a lot of fantastic RPGs. And unfortunately, we have not seen those on Xbox yet. And there's been a lot of questions to why, because Atlus is underneath the Sega umbrella, a Sega Sammy umbrella. And so myself included have been calling for this, that Atlus needs to, Sega needs a strong arm Atlus or whatever it is and get them to put their games on Xbox, because the fan base will only expand if they do it. So again, started this morning with a small rumor that Korea, it had been rated over there. And then as Season Gaming was reporting this morning, and let me bring up their article real quick. So I'll just read from Season Gaming. Again, shout out to Ains and his whole team over there. They do a great job. Again, and in fact, they just did an update on their site too, saying that the store listing may be fake as well. So these rumors, again, where there's smoke, there's fire. But there was a listing this morning that went up. Somebody had a picture of a Persona 5 Royale listing underneath the Xbox store. And again, just to update, it seems like the store listing may have been fake as well as the rating. But I'm going to keep my hope alive that this is just all something that's going to show up at E3. But again, with E3 around the corner, you're going to get some fake stuff thrown in there because people like to do that too. But there was a supposed picture shown of the Xbox store with Persona 5 Royale listed, ready to rock and roll. But again, we'll have to wait a little bit on this one, but I'm pumped. I know, again, some of it's being downplayed right now, but I hope that Persona 5 comes over. The bigger picture is that would mean the opening up of all of the other Atlas titles eventually showing up on Xbox, which would be huge for all of us RPG fans and Atlas fans specifically who love especially the Persona series. You know, I would just want it to come so that I can enjoy these games just like PlayStation, just like some of the PC guys have, PC people have been able to do. I want to see Atlas open up their library and bring it. So again, we'll see. E3 is right around the corner. We'll see if there was any fire to this smoke or if it was all just complete fake. But that was something cool and exciting to wake up to this morning, and I hope it comes to fruition.
That is a fact. Again, with the play of the entire, not just only with everything that's going on in Japan, we know Phil's made many trips out that way to really get those conversations moving. And as much as the Asian side of the Asian culture has really looked at Xbox and just looked at our entire American culture. It hasn't been very invested in what we got going on over here. They're starting to see that nowadays we're getting very interested. Anime is becoming bigger than it ever was. For those who are interested, Demon Slayer Mugen Train has become is up there with one of the biggest Ghibli movies, even with the biggest Ghibli movies that have ever existed. I'm talking about Howl's Moving Castle. Man, I can't think of the other titles off the top of my head. Why? Pong, help me out if you can. Oh, Lord.
Hey, where are you going with
Ponyo. There's these other movies that have kind of taken up that notch as far as like anime and whatnot goes, to help people on our side of the water really realize the potential of what anime truly is. Has really opened up. Demon Slayer Mugen Train has become one of the highest grossing animated films of all times up to this point, or one of the few in that region. So it's really demonstrating to people that we're being more open. It's becoming more of something that people are really paying attention to, and so to see these games starting to come over also, like we'll see with what's that other game? Gosh darn it, Exia. Is something Exia? Arise. It's Arise. Tales of Arise. There we go. We got games like Tales of Arise coming, the Final Fantasy coming.
Yeah, we're going from Howl's Moving Castle, Studio Ghibli, to then. Okay, all right.
Those are like when you think of your animated movies or anime movies, those are the movies that are like the top tier that mostly everybody realizes or knows of. And Demon Slayer, which is a newer anime that has come out with a movie, is now has surpassed those classic movies and is actually being upheld within that same standard. My whole point with that it was saying that it's becoming more and more realized with other brands like Naruto and stuff like that, where people are getting that attention. You see it with the shirts. You're getting more graphic tees or whatnot. You're seeing more and more people being more open and talking about it and walking around with it, whereas before it was kind of shaded on, or you was kind of shameful if you were doing that kind of thing back in the day. And it's getting more attention now. It's becoming something so amazing, man. So I'm glad to see Atlas kind of really seeing with especially with the Yakuza series being a Game Pass, getting all the love, Sega getting all the love and attention that they're getting also. We're getting more and more games coming over, man. It's exciting.
it is. It is. The Asian market has to open up. Phil knows that. He's really trying hard. The East is going to be very important. We've talked about it here, Steel, talked about it on other shows, but Korea, China as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent over there right now, and it's going to be it's going to be critical that Xbox gets in on this talent. Japanese market has been established for a long time, but Korea and China are both developing markets. They are both places where gaming is just starting to come into its own there, and you're seeing talent come out of there. All that talent that we've seen for decades upon decades in Japan, we're now going to see a fresh set of talent from different locales in the East. And if Xbox can make a move into those markets, it will solidify their standing there and give them the opportunity to work with this talent going forward, which would be a huge boon and get for Phil and his team for their future plans and hitting those mobile markets over there. Again, we're not talking about console necessarily over there. That is a small piece of the pie versus the actual mobile market, and what they can do with xCloud and Game Pass in combination with everything else. That is where they're going to hit it big if they can pull it off. So I know for a fact that Phil and his team have got to have their eyes over there. He's been in Japan a ton.
Facts.
I can guarantee you they're not ignoring the Black Myth Wukongs.
There you go.
Stuff coming out. Yeah, coming out of that. Correct. Coming out of that whole area. That is something that I'm sure they have their eyes on and are going to be trying to make the inroads over there to get a piece of that. So big exciting stuff. And again, Atlas, just one of my favorite developers. Persona 4 Golden is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. I just am really hyped that there's an opportunity that's been long coming that we might start seeing some of their library of games here. So I hope it's going to happen. So that was pretty cool this morning. Let's see what else. Let's touch on something else fun here, Steel. Let's touch on real quickly. First of all, we'll do this quick because it's been talked to death. Steel and I are both of pretty much a similar mind. We have a few differences here. The cross-gen stuff with GT, and then let's roll into Forza Motorsport, what we heard from them real quick.
Excellent.
So cross-gen, we heard about that this week with Sony. Obviously, we believe in generations is only sometimes by the sounds of it at this point. Again, more market speak from Jim Ryan and the crew over at Sony. Props, again, respect the hustle. This is what they do. I find it crummy that they're not transparent with everything. I've gotten used to transparency with Xbox at this point, so I'd like to see Sony follow suit. But their MO is to do this stuff. It's all for marketing. It's all get people hyped up. They promoted specifically. So if anybody hasn't heard about it, first of all, they confirmed that God of War was pushed to 2022 for sure. Shout out to Mr. Corey Barlog again for coming out and falling on the sword. He states that it was his decision, that he was the one who set the 2021 date. He missed it. He overshot his estimations of what his team could get done within the time frame, and so he claims it was his decision for 2022 launch. I'm not going to call the man a liar because I don't know him personally. I'm just going to say that it is Sony's MO to do this. So it's a little iffy to me whether or not that's the actual case. However, he said it. He fell on the sword. So whatever. They pushed God of War to 2022, and they also confirmed cross-gen. So it is going to be a PS4 game as well as a PS5 game, which was disappointing to a lot of fans. It should not be surprising and shocking to a lot of people, but it has been. Then we heard about Horizon Forbidden West. They're trying for 2021, but it's still up in the air. They may push that to 2022 as well. Obviously, we already knew that one was cross-gen with PS4 and PS5. And then kind of the surprise to me, Gran Turismo GT. They marketed that specifically. This is flat out. It's in their ads. There's been screenshots of it. PlayStation 5 exclusive. They pushed this as a 2021 PlayStation 5 only game.
Yep.
They pushed that hard. Okay, that started actually last year in their marketing. They pushed it. Most of us who know the history of GT Gran Turismo knew that was never going to happen as far as a date. There was no way they're going to get that game out in 2021.
Right.
I laughed when they showed that. And again, I don't even know if they specifically said 2021, but they put it in their games showing 4 games coming out in 2021. So it was kind of sneakily put in there. Again, Sony does this. This is Sony's MO. This is how they hype people up and get people out there buying their consoles constantly.
Right.
But again, I knew it wasn't going to happen. The surprising thing was they came out this week and said, no, it's coming out 2022, but it is also going to be cross-gen. Now, for me, why this is surprising is because racers in general, car games, driving games that launch in the beginning of a generation are usually when you see the new hardware show itself off. It is one of the easiest genres to get up and running from a standpoint of new hardware and adding in all the great new features. And it really becomes a showcase for your next gen system. So for me, for them to come out and say this was kind of shocking. It's kind of a white flag to me that they've given up, that Forza, is the king of racing games now, because we know Forza Motorsport. Now there's smoke that we're going to see Horizon 5 in Mexico at E3 ready to launch this year. Forza Motorsport is skipping because you know how Horizon and Motorsport usually alternate releases. That's what they've been doing. Now they're skipping Motorsport altogether because Motorsport is going to has a complete new engine. They are overhauling everything
Completely.
Okay. Yep. Completely. Because they are going to use that. Xbox, obviously, Phil and his team made the decision with Turn 10 that they're going to showcase the Series X and Series S with the new Forza Motorsport. That is going to be next gen or current gen only, however you want to say it. We got to stop saying next gen because it's current gen. Whatever.
Well, I mean, current gen is what we have currently, Xbox One or whatever. We go
back and forth with that. Yeah, I get it. Series consoles, that is going to be a showpiece for the series consoles. They have made that decision, obviously. That's why they're rebuilding it from the ground up with a new engine. So I can't wait to see what they do, because that's what your racers generally are. Now, 2022 is a little bit off. Obviously, you generally see those new racers out during the launch window for a new console, because again, it is a showpiece kind of scenario. However, in this case, we're not going to see it till 2022. Forza Horizon 5 is going to be cross-gen. It'll be Xbox One and then the series consoles as well. It's still going to look beautiful. If you anybody who's played Forza Horizon 3 and 4 know how beautiful those games are. It's going to look fantastic, and I don't doubt the series consoles are going to be even better than the updates that they did on 4 for the series consoles. I'm sure they're going to push the series hard, but it's still not going to be a brand new engine like Motorsport is. So again, to get back to my original point, Gran Turismo being cross-gen was surprising to me, because normally that is your showcase. I think that this is a white flag from Sony, because if they put out Gran Turismo in 2022, okay, how do you say the developer's name? God, I can never say it. Polyphony? I can't ever say it. Is that what it is? I can't ever say it. Their history, their track record is we won't see another Gran Turismo, maybe even by the end of this generation on PlayStation 5. Now, they may try to get another one out that uses the full power of the PlayStation 5, but their dev cycle is very long. So basically what they're doing is waving the white flag and giving it up to Forza, because Forza Motorsport is going to be out in 2022. It's going to showcase the series consoles. And from what they're saying, Steele, first of all, do you have anything to say on the cross-gen stuff at all?
As far as I
know we talked
a little bit in the background. I wasn't necessarily as surprised about GT being cross-gen. What was surprising is that they just blatantly continue to lie about stuff about these titles. They did it with Miles Morales, saying that it was built from the ground up. Now they tried to tell you that Gran Turismo is going to be built from the ground up for PS5, when it was being built from the ground up to have PS4 into consideration. It'd be something completely different if they were making 2 different versions. They're not, and I'm almost about 85-90% sure that they are not going to have 2 different versions of the game. Now if they do, hey, I'll eat crow for it. You know what I mean? Let me know, shout me out, hit me in the DMs and say, damn, still they made 2 different versions. But I do not think that they are. Again, it's just proving that Yeah, all companies lie. They want you to get in those pockets. But it's one thing when you blatantly do it to try to sell your console, trying to get people hyped for whatever. People know what Gran Turismo does. But let's be honest, Gran Turismo hasn't been the same since Forza Motorsport 2. And now with Forza Motorsport 8, and them saying that it's going to be next gen only, and they're going in and they're adjusting the engine, bringing in all new assets and everything else, is going to again, because Gran Turismo's only competitor honestly is Motorsport. Again, Motorsport is going to outshine Gran Turismo, and I think it's finally going to put Gran Turismo in a grave that they did not need to be in. They have released the last Gran Turismo was Sport, and that was on PS4, and that was the only Gran Turismo on that console, and that came out late.
That's their dev cycle,
and that's so long. That is embarrassing. That shows you where they're at now. I mean,
GT honestly, used to be the biggest franchise. For all you younger people out there,
GT got me
may
into
not
it.
know, Gran Turismo was the original. That was the racing sim game to play if you owned a PlayStation or any other console. It was the king. It was the king. And nobody ever thought that crown was going to be taken. Even when Forza first launched, everybody was like, hey, this is pretty good. It's not bad for being, on Xbox, version of Gran Turismo. It's not a bad thing. Nobody knew what Turn 10 was going to do with that game. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I think you said it, Steele, in the background when we were talking, Forza 2 started the downward trend for Gran Turismo. Ever since Forza 2 came out, Turn 10 has continued to innovate and push that series to a point where Gran Turismo could no longer compete one for one with them. It no longer could. It was no longer the king. Gran Turismo tried to adapt a little bit, but they could not pull off what Forza was pulling off. Now they've just gotten so far ahead.
You know what's even more embarrassing about that, Pong? Because we also talked about this, because they were saying that this Forza Motorsport 8 is going to be the biggest leap that they've had from in between 4 to 7. So, they've kind of iterated or whatever. Yeah. This is going to be the biggest leap, even for those 4, 5, 6. That's 4 games. That's 2, 4, 6, 8 years. Because Forza Motorsport was coming off of every other year cycle. That's 8 years that you had to go in the books, go in the background, really try to reinvigorate yourself. 8 years. All Forza Motorsport did was change a little bit of things here and there, add a little more detail, and do these couple things here and there. Not really iterated too much, and are now taking the leap that is comparable. Their next game from 7 to 8 is comparable to 4 games worth of reiteration, development, and taking things to the next level. To me, GT started the whole sim racing experience for me on PlayStation.
Absolutely.
Especially on PlayStation 2. It took it to that next level for me.
That was the game to have.
That was the expectation. And as a newer series stepping into the world with Forza Motorsport and Turn 10, we just see how serious Turn 10 takes their games versus what Polyphony has done with theirs. And it's just, it's embarrassing to see one of your, I know people like to say, oh, all you have is Forza, Gears, and Halo. It's embarrassing to see one of your pillar franchises now get pushed to the wayside as you, quote unquote, with you keeping it, because again, like Pong said, these simulation games were a chance to really demonstrate what is possible with that hardware. I know there's people out here that try to say, oh, racing games are easily made or whatever the case. You don't obviously see what gets put into these racing games. What Turn 10, look at some of the interviews and documentaries that Turn 10 has put out there on all of the work that they put into putting into the driving experience for a sim game. Even in Horizon, no, it's not Need for Speed, but it's not Motorsport either. Them being able to blend the two is crazy to me. It's absurd.
Just to give a little context for everybody out there, Gran Turismo 3 A Spec, which was the game on PlayStation 2 that Steele is talking about here. Just to give everybody a little perspective for people who don't remember, this is a racing sim game, people. This is a racing sim game. This is a niche genre, okay? Horizon is arguably bigger than Motorsport now because it brought a more arcadey feel. Okay, arcade racers are big. But racing sim games have never been considered big.
Right.
But Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, when it launched in 2001 on the PlayStation 2, globally sold 15 million copies. 15 million copies for a racing sim game was huge.
Right.
Okay.
What?
Huge. that is incredible to have that. And then ever since that point, we've started to see the downfall. Gran Turismo 4 only sold 11 million. Gran Turismo 5 sold another 12 million. And then it's been Gran Turismo 6 and Sport sold approximately, Gran Turismo 6 on PS3 sold 5 million. Gran Turismo Sport sold approximately 8 million.
Yeah.
And those are unofficial numbers.
Yeah.
So it's been a downward trend, but at its peak on the PlayStation 2, 15 million copies of a racing sim game was incredible. It was the talk of the town. Everybody I knew had the copy. It was just like even people that weren't into racing games were playing it just to say that they played it, right? It was like one of those things. That was the game. So pretty incredible. And I got some quotes from the actual dev, Chris Asaki here. I got to bring him back up here real quick. And what he had to say about what they've done with the development and how much improvement, like you were talking about, Steele, actually went into the new motorsport. And of course, my computer's gonna crap out. Hold on for a second. I just had it. Don't disappear on me. Don't disappear on me. But yeah, no, he did an interview and he was talking about this and what Steele was mentioning with the generational leap. He called it a huge generational leap. So, okay, here we go. So Chris Sasaki, he's a creative director for Turn 10 and for Forza Motorsport, obviously. They have been doing, for people who don't know, they've been doing some like kind of alpha beta testing behind the scenes. You can sign up for some of their stuff. They've actually had people testing a lot of what's going on because they are making such big changes from an engine standpoint that they need people to test it out in real world to try to see what's going on. So just to give you some hints here, his exact quotes were, to put the physics work into perspective. Now he's talking about the car physics work. The changes we made from Forza 7 till now is more than the changes we made from Forza Motorsport 4 through Forza Motorsport 7. It's basically a huge generational leap coming to the game. So, and they specifically went into just the tires. Now listen, people, this is just the tires. This is not engine, the actual car engines. This is not suspensions. This is nothing else. This is not aerodynamics. This is just the tires. Okay, the tires in Forza Motorsport and the way they interact with the road has been dramatically increased too. And again, this is from Tech Radar. Actually, is the article.
Okay.
According to Asaki, the tire collision model from the first game to Forza Motorsport 7, so from the first iteration of Forza to Forza Motorsport 7, only had a single point of contact with the track surface, and it was refreshed at 60 cycles per second. Ooh. Okay. In Forza Motorsport, there are now 8 points of contact with the track surface. The end refresh at 360 cycles per second. That is a 48 times fidelity jump for a single tire collision. So again, they went from 1 point of contact to 8 points of contact. They went from refreshing at 60 cycles per second to 360 cycles per second. Isaki said that this results in the cars handling better and you can feel the track surface a lot more. But that's not all. When Isaki was asked how else the physics will improve the driving experience, overall, Isaki said another example of how physics work is that has resulted in subtle but noticeable changes in the road surface. Our curbs in the past have often been viewed as somewhat coarse or unsettling, and I think it's been dramatically changed. They can be approached with confidence, and I think the play tests confirm this. As simple as that may be, the curbing is night and day to where it has been in the past. And that's obviously curbing has to do with your cornering. And so multiple tire compounds have also been confirmed for Forza Motorsport, a first for the series. There's always been tire wear in previous games, but tire compounds such as hard,
Yes.
medium, and soft will deepen the gameplay and racing strategy. Each compound has its own grip and wear characteristics that Asaki said will lead to exciting new gameplay during the race.
Right.
They also talked a little bit about the weather that they've got into it. They've always been very good at their weather, but they're talking about improvements to the weather and how you're going to have to adjust your driving to the weather even more than you used to. All of this just goes to what we're talking about. Forza has become the king of sim racers, and I cannot wait for the new Forza Motorsport. Forza 7 was good. I don't think it lived up to the standards of motorsport as far as what the differences I saw between 6 and 7 were not that big of a difference. This one I expect to get back to that. Okay, this feels like a new game, right? This feels like something brand new, and they are enhancing everything that Turned In does well. They're just bringing it to the next level. So that's why I'm happy personally that Forza Motorsport has been announced as just series console only. They're not even going to touch the old Xbox One generation.
Yeah, I mean, and it's understandable, man. We're trying to move things forward. Again, racing games, especially the sim racing games, are supposed to show you what can be possible within the consoles. That's the way it's always been done in the past. I give so much respect to Xbox and Microsoft for what they're doing with Forza Motorsport. Again, people were asking, hey, how are you going to reiterate into the next Forza? And this is what they're doing. Introducing more physics, doing things that were not possible on older hardware that at this point that was already old 9 years ago. You know what I mean? It was already old on release. So seeing them saying, hey, let's forget about that, man. We're trying to move things forward. We're trying to do things that we weren't able to do before. And I know the devs are excited about that. So seeing this happen, man, it just shows you what is possible, and we're going to see it more and more as we move into this gen, especially with I'm just going to throw this in there real quick as we get further into the show, whatever the case might be. Just throw this in there. Just throw this in there real quick. With stuff like DLSS, that's not per se on consoles yet, which is nothing but is NVIDIA solution to per se to give you a higher quality image for basically nothing that's done on a hardware level. And now with AMD with their recent presentation of giving you something that's Fidelity FX, which is essentially something that's more software based to give you this kind of a similar thing, not done in the same fashion, not done in the same way at all, completely different from one another, but it's another solution to give you a higher quality image without giving you the impact to performance. And that's what we're looking for. Again, like I talked about last week, the overall thing that we need to all be looking for is to get away from wanting things to be in 4K, because as we move into the future, you're not going to realize it as we move on. Unless somebody tells you that something is in 4K, you'll never know. And that's what we're trying to move into, give you more detail in the world, giving you better aspects to make you feel like you're living within the world when you're playing it, is what we're moving towards. And just to kind of give a quick breakdown for what is going to be possible, and just understanding what AMD's FSR is, which is basically their Fidelity Super Resolution tech, and what NVIDIA's DLSS is, which Xbox has talked about with the machine learning and everything else. I don't want to get into it too deep.
Comes Professor Steele.
I tried to.
Here he comes.
No, I try to make things so that everybody it's easily digestible and easily understandable. So because not everybody cares about these types of things. They just want their games to play better and play smoother and look good. But overall, for those who might be confused, the difference between what AMD is doing, what NVIDIA is kind of doing, is headlines like AMD's answer to DLSS works on all GPUs and is currently available everywhere. But there's one critical flaw, FSR and DLSS, that makes them not alike. While DLSS is an upscaling system based on deep learning and machine learning, and uses the actual hardware to enable performance, FSR is just a simple spatial upscale. So basically, like I was saying, DLSS uses actual hardware-based stuff to actually upscale the image to make it look like a 4K image, basically, or upscale it to whatever they're trying to use it for, whatever image quality they're aiming for. Whereas AMD's fidelity solution, super resolution, is trying to do is just basically take that image and just upscale it. It's on the software side of it, right? It can just kind of be per se thrown on top and make that image look a little better. Now, without it getting too deep, AMD's solution is a newer solution. It's yet to be proven what it can really be done. In hindsight, it's something that can be applied amongst everything. Whereas NVIDIA's solution is kind of, if you don't have the hardware for it, you can't use it. And what AMD is trying to do is say, hey, we're trying to give this accessibility to everyone so that no matter what platform that you're on or whatever the case might be, this software based of whatever we're doing is giving you access and just basically giving you that better image quality and giving you the performance you might be looking for. And that's all that it is. Basically, in a nutshell, you're looking for basically, in a nutshell, as we move down the road, you're going to get better looking detail in games and also get that visual quality that you're looking for. And that's it in a nutshell without trying to dig too far deep into it. Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people don't care about that. It could be a whole other discussion that we can get into. But essentially, hey, something to look forward to. Y'all want next gen games, right? Well, this is how it's going to be done. They're going through different technologies and everything to give you guys a better experience and more detail in your games that you might have been missing it. And that's all that it is. You're getting more detailed and better resolution in the long run without it impacting your hardware. That's it. Other than that, man, we had some Battlefield 6 leaks that came up. I'll bring up some of those pictures as we move.
Bring up some of those pictures, man.
As we move through this.
By the way, K Mega was really excited to hear you go back into the tech talk again.
And I didn't even get it, and I didn't even get into it. So he can be over dramatic if he likes. Because I definitely didn't get into it the way that they got into it last night. Basically, again, one of the more important things for me is I want people to be able to understand it on a simpler level. So, I mean, again, shout out to 108 is something that he brought up last night. You got to break it down. You got to break it down for people because it's not like everybody's heavily invested into it. Unless you're a geekhead, it's like the hardcore of the hardcore. You know what I mean? Again, it's just basically understanding you're getting more detail with your games, man, and that's what you should want. But look, Battlefield 6, these leaked images, man. Look at these, man. Like, it gives me a lot of some similarities with what Battlefield 4 was. It's like Battlefield 4 on crack. You know what I mean? It's like Battlefield 4 on steroids. And I know a lot of these pictures, it's kind of hard to tell what we're really looking at.
This is pre-alpha, by the way.
Yeah.
Leak. This is this is some early stuff here.
Facts.
When I look at early stuff like this, all I'm looking for is like just the basic of what I'm seeing. Like I'm just giving myself like a baseline and like, okay, now add polish and add layers of effects on top of this. And we're going to be closer to what we're looking at. But for pre-alpha, got some pretty cool looking stuff in it, man. And like you and I were talking behind the scenes, Steel, and instantaneously giving me that Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 vibe right out the gates, man. And that is exactly what I was looking for. Yes, I'd rather have Bad Company 3. I want Bad Company 3 all day, every day. Absolutely, 100%. But since they're not going to give us that, I was happy when they said they were going back to modern. I hope they learn their lessons from 5 and obviously 4 before it got fixed. 4 before it got fixed was a mess with certain things. 5 was definitely a mess out the gates. I'm hoping they learned from both of those. They took the extra time, and from what I'm seeing here, giving me those Battlefield 3 and 4 vibes, man. That's what I'm all about. Love to see what I'm seeing here. They also steal. If you want to bring up too, you could bring up the whole message that got put together. What they did yesterday was Battlefield 6 Dice Team started sending out cryptic messages to different influencers everywhere. And what everybody figured out was they were sending out partial pieces of that message. And so somebody put it all together, and it kind of gives you an idea of what they're going for with Battlefield 6. Kind of an interesting thing. It got me, again, just from the words, it gave me a really epic feel that they're going for something kind of big here. And they're going to get back to that only in Battlefield kind of situation. Yes. But basically, the full message that everybody put together. So it came out as kind of like, what you would expect out of a military kind of transmission, what we see in movies all the time and everywhere else. So they have a bunch of they've got protocol, and it's got, numbers, and it's got source, quantum encrypted long band radio broadcast. So obviously anytime, there's long band or shortwave or long wave radio broadcast going out means that communications are down for some reason. That tends to happen during war. So they're using, alternate methods to reach everybody. And this is not just for the military, from what I gather. Maybe you guys in the chat will have some kind of different idea, but when I read what they say, I think you'll kind of get the idea of what I'm going with. Target, OZ, alias unknowns, Oz, interception unit. So this is obviously some kind of transmission that was intercepted. USS Raven Rock, Naval Signal Corps, date of transmission, 0104, and they cancel out the date. Well, now we've already heard that it's somewhere, I think, what did they say? 2030s, I think is what they said, or 2040s. Yeah, 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. So not just in the distant future here, right? So now here's what the message says. Some of you want to return home. That most human of all instincts. With a heavy heart, I must tell you the truth. You have no home to return to. The question we must ask ourselves now is, do we accept our fate, or do we dare to fight for a better world? No one may force you into battle. I say to all who can hear my voice, if you can fire a gun, if you can tend a wound, if you can create havoc, those who cannot need you, we need you. War is the only way home.
Thanks.
That sounds like an invasion. It sounds like a call out to whoever's listening to grab your weapons, to get in the fight, meaning that the military's been decimated, and it's all out war for whatever country it may be or whatever location it may be. And it sounds like somebody is on the losing side, and they're asking for everybody that possibly can to reinforce.
Nice.
So this sounds like we are getting back. Ooh, I am excited. Like, reading that just gave me chills. Like, I can hear, I just love the feel. I love this about Call of Duty too, their single player campaigns. I love how they present things, because I could see it as a full feature length movie if they ever went that route. Like, I could get that feeling like, hey, this could be like something big. And just from these words alone, that's what I get out of this. This is something big. We're going to get back to the old school style battlefields. And like I said before, we're going to start seeing only on Battlefield, only in Battlefield again. Right, that old, and we're going to be seeing that hashtag everywhere. People posting clips of crazy stuff happening again, coming out of Battlefield 6. Dude, E3. Expect to see this on stage. I expect to see it on Xbox's stage.
Yeah, I do too, man.
And I don't know if we're going to get the Game Pass announcement at E3. I know, shout out to Jeff Grubb. Obviously listen to him a lot. He knows his stuff. He talks about how Game Pass deals come down to the last minute, last wire. Usually not done far in advance. So he doesn't think we'll hear about it at E3. It'll be something that, we just hear about right, prior to launch, within, 30 days or whatever of launch.
Yeah.
But I expect this to have a stage presence with Xbox, and I expect them to show off some gameplay. I think that would be huge to drop that. And I'm hoping that's what we're going to see beyond the trailer. I think they probably show their own trailer. at some point too, and then maybe we get a little glimpse of gameplay, maybe not, but I'm just hyped because I want to see it. So I'm just kind of wishing here too. What do you think, Steele?
That's a fact. I'm excited for Battlefield, man. Again, it's been a long time in the making for them to actually become more current. Again, the older games seem to always turn me off. I hate when we go back in time to the older combat. It was cool when Call of Duty did it the first 2 times. After that, I was completely over it. Unless it's zombies or whatever the case might be, that's the only time that it ever becomes acceptable for me now. So now it's like I don't like ever going back to it. I'd rather have the modern combat. Battlefield 4 after the first year and all the issues that they got out the way was an amazing experience as far as Battlefield goes. I've been a Battlefield head since Battlefield 2. For those who have that relation to that, Battlefield 2 was an amazing experience as far as an overall Battlefield game. The squad system, the combat system, really taking it multiplayer to that next level. Again, I believe that was early 2000s, again, 2002 or whatever the case, when Battlefield 2 came out. And even then, man, it's uncomparable what Battlefield tends to do with their series. Battlefield 6, hopefully it takes it to that next level. Again, that cryptic message, man, it gets you hype. It gets you. I feel like they're more so talking to us, saying, "Hey, we need y'all in the fight. We're ready for y'all to get in here."
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm grabbing.
Exactly.
I'm ready. Let's go.
You're ready to grab your gun and get at whoever you need to get at. Man,
my controller.
Yeah, exactly. You're ready to grab your gun, grab your controller, whatever you need to do, and to really get into the combat, man. It gets me hype. It gets me excited. And man, I can't wait till I hop into another Battlefield. As I've already stated, Call of Duty, goodbye. I already looked over you once this year.
Yep.
If it wasn't for my brother, I wouldn't have played Black Ops Cold War this time around. Warzone is cool for what it is. I don't ever mind hopping into Warzone, but it's also still a more modern shooter. And Battlefield, hey, I'm on the way. I'm enlisted. I'm signed up. It's day one for me. Whether it's in Game Pass or whether I got to buy it, I'm there. I'm ready to be heavily invested into Battlefield once again, because there's no other game that does it better than Battlefield as far as the overall when it comes to those realistic combat shooters. And man, I'm just excited about that. You know, the other thing that I'm excited about, Pong?
What's up?
Is the fact that we've hit over 200 subs on the living split screen.
Really? Did we really?
Yes, man. We've hit over 200 subs. Shout out to Caitlin for doing a little bit of groundwork to get some of those extra people in there. But look,
thank you.
200 subs, man. Nothing but love and appreciation for
Caitlin, love you. Thank you so much.
For everybody. Everybody that's shown us love and support, man. To see us get over 200 subs is an amazing feat. It's something that I wasn't necessarily expecting for people to get in here and to really show us the love and the passion and everything else, and just the overall support, man. The biggest thing for me is I don't want people to necessarily just sub into us just to sub, man. I want you to sub if you support what we're doing here. If you feel as passionate as what we're doing here, if you love what we bring to the table, that's why I would want you to sub. And hopefully you guys are enjoying that. For us to get us to that over 200 mark, and we continue to move forward. We're trying to make that move to 1,000. So if y'all want to start hitting those super chats or whatever the case might be, we'd have those options. But just to see more and more people support us and what we're doing is, again, this is why we're doing it. Just to get that passion across, that energy across, and everything else, man. Any words as we touch over 200, man?
Dude, man. I mean, again, this experience, this adventure that I'm on with you, Steele, my brother from another, has been just crazy. Again, just to go from a simple quick DM to you about a thought I had in my head to now episode 11, 200 subscribers, all these amazing, phenomenal, beautiful, lovely people chat that come out each and every week to support us, and just this community in general that both you and I jumped into late, last year. And to get to this point, still, it is. You just shocked the hell out of me. I didn't even know. I knew we were close, but like I had no idea where you're going with that. When you said that we hit 200, man, that gives a certain feeling, man. Again, Again, it isn't 10,000, it ain't 100,000, but you know what? Everybody starts from somewhere, and the mere fact that we were able to take this from episode 1 to episode 11, hit that 200 subscriber mark at this point, and have the consistency that we have between the two of us. Again, none of this could be done. None of this is possible without you, Steel. None of this is possible without this community that has come behind us and actually enjoy what we do here. And again, like you were just saying, Steel, we ain't about, you know, we ain't about people just subbing to us just to sub to us. You know, we appreciate that, but at the same time, we're really about having people that honestly want to listen to our stuff week in and week out. We want you to be here because you like us as much as we like you. And that's real. That's flat out real. We love each and every one of you guys. And that show up in each week and that listen to us afterwards and that continue to support us throughout. That's what this is about. Steel and I are obviously passionate. You guys know that. You obviously know about the live, raw, and uncut portion of it. But we're here because we just want to share it with other people. And we hope that you all continue to feel that. And we hope that you guys will, you know, again, share it out to other people as well, and just see if anybody else out there likes it and likes us. You know, and that's what it's about. That's how we want to grow. So again, thank you all. That is a big moment. Still, you actually did really surprise me. Like I said, I knew we were close, but man, that's cool as hell. Man, but I appreciate you, brother. You've been here every week. You've done all the behind the scenes work. People don't even know sometimes all the work that goes into it. Again, my hands are tied technology wise, with the situation I'm in right now. You have picked up all the slack that I hate leaving behind, and have run with it, and have done so much for us that again, man, never forget. Every morning I'm thankful for it. So thank you, brother.
Hey man, like I'm always tell you, I feel like sometimes you give me a little more credit than I feel like I deserve personally.
Not at all.
I know you say that I tend to downplay myself, and you're not the first one that says that. But look, man, again, we do this for the people. We want gaming to become, like we talked about a little bit earlier. We want to take gaming to that next level, because we see that there is another level that we can get into. And I'm not talking about being shills, and I'm not talking about not being organic. We're never going to stray away from this at any point. No matter how big we get, we will never stray away from being organic. And what makes this even more important, because this is something.
Well, if somebody offers us $1 billion, maybe I might sell my soul. Not gonna lie.
Okay, with all things within reason. You know what I'm saying? I need a bag from multiple places. It can't just be, I'm gonna be like, hey, I need, if Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox can get together and hug each other out and be like, look, we really need these living split screen guys, man. I could do a 3-way bag. I can work it out.
Right. Just being real. I'm just being real. It was organic, but I had to let everybody know that there is a limit. You know, everybody's got their price, and I have my price somewhere out there. So.
You stupid. All fun and games, man. But like honestly, for us, because this is something that's important, that I feel like is important for us. Again, with our busy lives at this current moment, we haven't been able to really put in the work that we on the back end may necessarily feel like we need to, with everything that we got going on personally. So for us to be able to get on here every Saturday and give y'all the content that we give y'all, that I feel like we give y'all, the authenticity, the organic nature, the energy that we provide y'all is unmatched, because we literally get together. Yeah, we might talk on and off every now and then throughout the week, but again, this crazy, everybody has lives, there's different things that are going on, and we wish at some point we would love to be able to take this not just to that next echelon, but we can at this current moment, but we bring that energy, that vibe to y'all every Saturday, and it's organic, man. This is what we give y'all, man. So man, I can't, words can't express enough about getting over that 200, and whatever the case might be. It's an amazing thing. Again, the support has been great, and man, hopefully we can keep that ball rolling, man. Much love to everybody that's been tuned in. With that being said, as we roll into the further into the show and getting it towards the end, Pong, We were going to do some E3 predictions, but I would like to do it this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we could
I
probably
forgot about that, by the way.
we could probably go another hour with our E3 predictions.
No, we can, yes.
Well, I will say this. Saturday, we will be live again. So
next Saturday,
we'll be talking all over again of what E3 has been going on. Because best you believe, next week is going to be a packed week. So we're going to have plenty of topics to talk about, plenty of energy to get into. And we're probably, without the little bit of drama that we had in the middle of the show, that we had to make sure that we got across, we'll be able to definitely dive a little more into what's going on within the gaming scene. So, Paul.
And quick plug too. Rich Living Split Screen mashup with Fun Speculation over on his channel next Sunday for the Xbox show. We will be there. We are having the Living Split Screen Ultimate Xbox Split Screen, whatever you want to call it, mashup. We will be there Sunday morning. I don't know how early we're going to go. Mav is wrapping up final, obviously
Facts. Look out for
ideas of where he's going to get it to schedule together. But both Steele and I, we will be over there on Xbox Ultimate with my extended family over there, and we will be doing that Xbox show, which is going to be crazy. So check us out that Sunday. I know everybody is going to have a show going, right? Everybody is hyped for this E3. There are going to be a million shows to watch, but come check us out real quick over there on Xbox Ultimate.
And that's a fact. Hey, and shout out to Mav and the Xbox Ultimate team for actually getting, they was on the ball early. As soon as the E3 announcement started rolling in and the conversation started happening, hey, it was instant. It was like, hey, look. We need a living split screen over here in the Xbox Ultimate. Has anybody talked to y'all yet? We're like, hey man, my free agent. What kind of bag? No, I'm playing. But yeah, I mean, we were free agents. He hit us up and was like, yeah, let's get into it, man. I was like, hey, we would love to do it. Bring that living split screen energy to the Xbox Ultimate mashup. So we're going to come together like Voltron, and we're going to call ourselves the Living Split Screen Ultimate Podcast for your E3 content. But anyway, hopefully y'all will be tuned in for that. That's going to be going live Sunday, I believe. We may do it earlier. Who knows? There may be some other things that happen during the week where we might have to get together and really give it to y'all live, raw, and
keep
uncut.
Your eyes and ears open.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
And look, man, I'm you know how I do it with the videos on Twitter or whatever the case. Hey, if anything, I'll keep y'all updated throughout the week or whatever what's going on. Again, it's exciting. But what I was going to say is E3. If there's one game that you want to be seen during this entire E3 presentation or E3 conference that's going to be going on between the Jeff Keighley thing, that the Summer Game Fest thing that you got going on, and E3, there's one game that you just can't wait to be announced or want to be announced. What would that game be?
Are we doing any kind of wish list here? Are we doing realistic wish
list?
Or are we doing
realistic? We're going to do realistic.
How realistic?
Like, you could see it coming out within the next 2 years, easily. Possibly.
Okay, well, I mean, I've got to go with the one I've been plugging the entire time. I mean, again, I think this is a real possibility, and this is not me just, I mean, part of it's just fanboy wishing. But at the same time, I think there is a genuine possibility of this happening. So I'm gonna say Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell? Ooh.
Yeah. I think there. I think again, it is kind of fanboy wishing because Ubisoft has not shown that they want to do another full-fledged Splinter Cell game. They're gonna put Sam Fisher everywhere except for in his own game. So I understand that. And I understand that Ubisoft, where they're at right now, they aren't looking to go outside of their box. They want to continue to do the formulated type games that they always have. And I don't think Splinter Cell is in those plans at this point. However, I think personally, and there's a gut feeling of mine, that Microsoft has approached them, that Xbox, Phil and his team have approached them and would be willing to fund part, if not all, of the development costs for a new Splinter Cell and make that an Xbox exclusive. And I think it would make sense for Ubisoft. They have a great IP. that is not being used. They have the development teams to do it. And I think that personally we could potentially see a teaser at this E3. And that's my gut feeling. Yes, it is some fanboy wishing. I'm not going to throw that. But I think there is some validity to it, and I think it's something that we could possibly see.
It definitely sounds realistic. Excuse me, I wouldn't take that one away from you at all. I can definitely see that one coming up or happening at some point here soon. I mean, we've been going through, it's been a rumor thing in the background, and it's been so underutilized over the last generation for sure. Where's Sam Fisher at? Where's Splinter Cell at? Period. It was one of those defining genres, definitely for Xbox, and it's surprising. It's surprising that it hasn't showed up, and it'd be love if they showed it at this E3. So I can roll with that. For me, my personal choice, and it's one of those, just for me being a fan of the genre, I'm going to have to say Elden Ring. I really want to see what Elden Ring is going to be, what they're going to introduce for story wise. Hopefully, I really am. I really am. They say that. They say that. They say it. I don't believe anything. They've been talking about Elden Ring coming out for the last 2 years. Like, come on. Like, I'm not.
Jeff Grubb has gotten blasted for his Elden Ring talk. He's gotten blasted.
We're about to find out.
By the way, Steve, I'm not cutting you off. I'm going to give you your time here, but I just got to add this because since we're talking about Elden Ring, Jeff Grubb just said yesterday. What was it? Earlier this week? Wasn't yesterday?
No, it was yesterday, I believe.
Yeah. Yesterday he confirmed it again too. But yeah, he says that Jeff Keighley has the trailer and that it will be showing at the Summer Games Fest. So I think this is a lock because Grubb has gone through a lot of grief for his Elden Ring predictions in the past. And I don't think he would say that unless he knows. So that's just my 2 cents. I think you're going to see it.
Yeah, hopefully that's a fact, man. Elden Ring is one of those games, as me being a Souls fan, just a fan of that overall genre, of those types of that game style. It's kind of the next iteration of it. I know that's newer. Hopefully, and especially if it's going to be next gen only, that's something that I'd be highly interested in. Even if it's not, I mean, it could be a cross-gen title. I just want to see what the next experience of that is going to be. Elden Ring is looking like it's going to take it to that next level. I would love to see some gameplay. I'm kind of not as expecting of some actual gameplay. Hopefully we do get some. Even if it's a good trailer that features 10-15 seconds of gameplay, kind of like how they did with Demon Souls when they introduced the remake for that for PlayStation 5. If they do something like that, I think that'd be super dope. But Elden Ring would definitely be my top pick as far as what I'm anticipating, as far as everything that's going for the Summer Games Fest and E3. So hopefully we see some Splinter Cell, some Elden Ring action, man. Hopefully that definitely comes up, man. That's definitely some solid picks. Excellent.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So
let's go. E3.
Golden
Age of gaming. This is going to be
E3 hype.
I don't care. Nobody's cutting down my hype. Nobody's cutting down my hype. I don't care. Everybody keeps trying. Shout out to Joe, Mr. Bad Bit, who tried to cut my hype again yesterday on Boom Show. I'm not doing it, Joe. I'm not doing it. This isn't going to be a smaller show, man. This is going to be a hype E3 just because of the simple fact we're coming off of COVID and everything that happened last year and the way things went down. I think, yes, we may not get as much content or as many announcements as we normally would in a prime year. I think that's true, but I think we're getting some big announcements, some surprises that nobody's expecting this year. I think there is going to be some of that to this, and I think Xbox is definitely pulling out the big guns. I think Nintendo might surprise some people. I know they've been trying to downplay their show a little bit. We didn't talk about it today, Steele, but obviously there was a lot of rumors floating around. Switch Pro was supposed to be announced prior to E3. Does not look like that is now happening. But and they came out and said that they're just going to solely focus on their Nintendo Direct style on software for the Switch. Could be a little cover, could be temporary expectations just to blow them out of the water. We'll see. But again, I think there's going to be some big heavy hitters showing up at E3 this year that we weren't expecting. And I think it's going to be a great show. And it's just great to have E3 back again. We talked about this last night on Xbox Ultimate. E3, I think ESA is not a very well liked group, but they have an opportunity to redeem themselves this year
Right.
and moving forward and make E3 again what it once was, which was a absolute staple time in the gaming community's world. It was